old technology. One other thing I think we never talked about was remember how difficult it was to get internet back in the old days? Remember you would
Oh,
actually have to connect
bro.
your phone to
Dial
it.
up.
Yep,
Dial up.
you remember
With
those
that
days?
nice long crunchy noise going.
It's
It'd
it
take like 10
hasn't dawned
minutes
on me
just
for
to
a
connect.
while how slow internet used to be.
Man, I remember trying to
It
play a
was
Yu-Gi-Oh
wild.
game with internet and I could not get it to
I
work. I'm
bought.
like,
Yeah,
how does this
Oh
work?
wait, I just realized I'm not sharing my
yeah.
screen. Uh, there we
Oh,
go.
speaking of that, oh shoot, never mind. Hold
Uh,
on.
okay. So, oh, whoops. Okay, there we go. Howdy, whoever's watching still. Sorry, I had to bring everything back up. In fact, the music's not even back yet. Sorry,
Now
but
we were
are y'all ready to start the actual list?
Yes.
Alrighty. I think a song might have got deleted from Nightbot for some reason, so y'all can reinsert stuff. But go ahead, David.
Okay. So the number 7, I'm sorry, number 8, I can't count. Number 8 is going to be Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe.
mm,
Hey.
Joker when he stomped somebody in the crotch. That was funny back then.
I think that's my least favorite in ours.
It's
Okay,
So
it's very. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll tell you why I actually added this on a list, and I actually added it on the list instead of an honorable mention. I know that the game, a lot of people, first of all, a lot of fans were disappointed that the violence in Mortal Kombat did not exist in Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. And the game itself wasn't that big. I mean, there wasn't really that much to do. But I'll tell you what I really appreciated about the game. It really showed the potential, because at that time, let's be honest, okay? Mortal Kombat was the last game before that was Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Mortal Kombat was like at an all-time low. You know what I mean? And not to mention the fact that Midway was almost bankrupt. But Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe actually really showed that they could still create. I mean, it showed the potential, because it was actually a decent game. You know, it was small, but it had some decent parts to it. I like the creative mechanics they added in. You know, you know how you crash someone through a wall and there's a little mini game there, and you know how and if let's say someone's falling from one floor to the other, you would actually have to like match buttons or something like that. Yet someone press a button, you have to match it. That's how it works, right?
The one fun thing that I'll agree to, MK versus DCU did is that, like you said, Armageddon introduced a new mechanic called the air combo system, but it was heavily flawed with having an easy fucking infinite system. But in MK, Injustice, the prequel, they actually balance it out to actually have a limit and a gravity, so they actually do just fall over time instead of just sitting there looking funny. It's kind of cool. I didn't expect to hear that game on this.
When they introduce things, but are able to like balance them and fix and expand on things in later iterations.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm actually kind of glad they did it in the next game instead of just throwing it away entirely, because that was kind of the era where, you know, we can't really update and fix games now. It's like what you release it is what it is. Unless you release a whole nother version where you fucking confuse your fucking buyers. Melee! But I don't know.
Yeah.
The game's awesome though. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
No worries. I also wanted to add that in Mortal Kombat vs. DC, what I really liked was how that game showed like the potential like a new Mortal Kombat game had. If let's say they had the right budget, if let's say they weren't almost bankrupt, it showed that Ed Boon could still create really good Mortal Kombat games, because a lot of people had already given up on the franchise even before MK vs. DC. And it also showed that you could actually create a decent, you know, DC fighting game. So I think Mortal Kombat vs. DC kind of set up like a Mortal Kombat 9, how they could have a set of games. And they also showed Injustice, how they could have a DC fighting game. So I really do appreciate how Mortal Kombat vs. DC really like showed potential for those two games. And you know, we've had some really good games since the reboot trilogy of Mortal Kombat started, and since, you know, Injustice 1 and 2, I haven't played those games that much, but I still think they're really good games. They're really fun, enjoyable games. And if you also notice that in Mortal Kombat vs. DC, that a lot of the voice actors actually made it back into Mortal Kombat 9 and even Mortal Kombat X. So I think Raiden was even in Mortal Kombat vs. DC, the voice actor for that, and he was also in Mortal Kombat 9, 10, and 11.
It's an iconic
And
voice.
yeah, and I have to say that I think for a low-budget game, I mean, as I said, Midway was just about to go bankrupt, and I think for like a super low-budget game, I still think they didn't do that bad of a job. I think the game itself can be enjoyable, especially if you play with friends. It can still be like an enjoyable experience. So, as I said, there wasn't enough to do though, and that's why it's not as high on the list as it could have been. But as I said, I think for a really low-budget game, I think they did a pretty decent job. So, is there anything anyone else wants to add in? Or questions?
What?
That was actually really good. You said what you
yeah.
need to say. Like, I liked it for seeing the Joker just not hitting somebody, knocking them out, and then just kicking them in the crotch, just doing that. If that was not, that's a fatality. If I ever thought of that, if I ever saw one, like, it wasn't as gory, but if there was any fatality that I ever saw, that was pretty much Joker's victory, where he just like kicks him, like, dang. But I did like it. It wasn't to that degree though, compared to like the other crossovers I liked, but it was pretty fun. Pretty fun game.
And yeah, and I do agree. It's definitely not one of the best. It's definitely not the best crossover of all time. But as I said, what I appreciate the most out of it was how it really set up the Injustice series and the reboot Mortal Kombat series. You understand what I'm saying? I like how it set it up, and that's why I really appreciate it.
You know we're getting Mortal Kombat characters in multiverse, right? Unless
I can't tell if you're trolling or if you're serious. I can't tell right now.
I mean, it's definitely.
It better be.
Yeah.
Wait, are they still part of Warner Brothers? Are they still
Also,
part of
I'm
Warner
pretty
Brothers?
sure we're
license
getting
or
someone
no?
from Stranger Things too. I think.
Well,
Also?
Scorpion, either Scorpion or Sub-Zero would be enough to get me to give Multiverse a
Yeah,
shot.
well,
probably
they
am
would be
gonna
the
try it, but
defaults, if anything.
Oh my god, you reminded me of a dumb crossover. No, number 8.
Well, I guess. But yeah, I'm pretty sure like they're still in partnership with Warner Bros. So Scorpion and Sub-Zero would be like 2 default characters that we could expect multiverses. Unless someone in the chat can correct me, but I'm sure it'll happen.
Was there anything else someone want to add? Any other questions or comments? Let's take a look at the Twitch chat. Anyone else who's watching?
Chat's just full with my song request.
Yeah, so I guess we're good.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah. So I have a question. Are we like doing one? Are we?
Good question.
One?
Do y'all want to do 1-on-1 until top 3, or do 2 at a time? What are we doing?
We could do one. I guess we could do 2 at a time if you think that would make it faster.
Anyone object to 2 at a time? And wait, 7.
I'm okay with 2
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that then. So go
Okay.
ahead, David.
So my next one is actually going to be SNK versus Capcom 2. Some of you might be surprised at this because I never talk about that crossover, but I actually really enjoy it. What I really like is that how it felt like, and I forgot to mention this in Mortal Kombat vs. DC, but the thing about crossovers, in my opinion, when you do like an official crossover, it has to feel authentic to both games at the same time, and that is not always easy to do.
Yeah, like both series belong.
Yes, Mortal Kombat. I'll just quickly say Mortal Kombat vs. DC was able to fulfill that, but SNK versus Capcom 2 also did a really good job at fulfilling that. It felt like a great fusion of Street Fighter gameplay and King of Fighters gameplay. As someone who has played both games casually, I can say, yeah, this is really great. And I also thought it was really interesting how you can get different boss battles depending on what achievements you got. Like if you got enough perfect victories. I like the fact that I don't mention this very often, but I do like it when you can actually have multiple paths in an arcade fighting game playthrough. Depending on what you accomplish, and
Story ending stuff.
And I thought the competitive gameplay, Story is one thing, but also what I liked about it was how your progress would determine what type of boss fights you would face. And not many fighting games, especially nowadays, not many fighting games really do that.
Yeah, Third Strike semi gave the illusion of that back in the day, but I don't know if it really just let you pick your preference of would I rather fight this character or this character, but outside of that,
Everyone
there
was
wasn't
unique
really much
enough to
else
feel like it was a whole new game.
Yeah, back then at least.
And I noticed a lot of people that at our group, a lot of people would probably agree with me. You know, a lot of people really like that game. They, especially if you're a King of Spiders fan, you'll enjoy that. You don't have to like be a King of Spiders fan if you're a Street Fighter fan to play that game, and you don't have to be a Street Fighter fan if you're a King of Fighters fan to play that game. And I think they executed that really, really well. And you see, that's going back to Street Fighter Cross Tekken. That's where that game really messed up, because if you were a Tekken fan and you couldn't get into Street Fighter Cross Tekken, you know what I mean? So that's why it was executed poorly. Here, in my personal opinion, I thought that was executed very well, because it felt like both King of Fighters and Street Fighter at the same time. So, and it was almost gave the indication that they were even in the same universe as well. And I honestly think I would not be disappointed if they made a SNK versus Capcom 3. I may just be willing to give it a shot to play it competitively, if it ever happens.
You and me both.
The question
Yeah.
is, well, actually, I
Technically
highly
a
doubt they would.
crossover.
Huh?
I have a question for this list. Is it technically a crossover if it's in the same company universe? Well, not company universe, but I guess
Well,
company ownership, but a character's appearing in a wrong timeline?
I mean, I guess it's still technically a crossover, because, like, for example, King of Fighters, both SNK and Capcom are two prime examples of that, where recent titles like King of Fighters 15 and Street Fighter 5, they've crossed over with their own titles in the same game. So that's still technically a crossover, isn't it?
yeah, and SNK, they made King of Fighters and Capcom created Street Fighter. So yeah, I would say, and for my list, I should have stated this in more detail, but for my list, even if they're in the same universe, if they're made by two different companies, I consider that a crossover. And this is just my perspective on the list. If let's say they're made by the same company but in different universes, they qualify as a crossover. You understand what I'm saying?
Makes sense to me.
So, like, an example would be if let's say we were doing movie crossovers, talking about movie crossovers, I would not count the MCU at all. But if let's say we were talking about, like, let's see, the Spider-Man. Have you all seen the most recent Spider-Man movie? I don't want to spoil anything for you, Woody. Are you okay with any spoilers? Yeah, has everybody okay with a spoiler here?
The biggest spoilers of it are in the advertisements for the Blu-ray now, so go nuts.
So I would just say, like, I'll just say that would, in my opinion, counts as a crossover, because characters from different universes do appear in that movie. Like, you see, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is in the same universe, but since there are characters from other movies, from other universes that appear in that film, I consider that crossover. So that's how I do it. Either same company but different universes, or different company, or same universe.
Not
but
as
from
outward
companies.
branching, but I get the example.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, was there anything else about SNK or CBS2?
I would say that, as I said, I thought the boss battles were really great. They had Rugal and Akuma. I like how they portrayed both of them as bosses. Let's see. And I also did like the competitive gameplay too. Sometimes, that was really enjoyable, especially if you play with friends. It could also be really enjoyable. So I just thought it was a really well developed game. It's a shame they never made a third one, at least not yet. So.
We'd see if they would still want to somehow revive sprite work or do it all in 3D.
And I think, in my opinion, I think they should do it in 3D. And I honestly think that, that's, I think, the best crossover like Street Fighter has ever done, in my opinion. And some people are going to scream at me for saying this, but I think it's better than MVC2, as my list says. So.
To be real, I can't even tell if that's well. It could go both ways. I can see that being considered controversial, but also a relatable take. I don't know. It depends on who you ask.
How dare you have an opinion? MVC2 can do no wrong. It is perfect and flawless, and therefore it must be your favorite.
Alright.
Yep, there are some people out there who are like that. It's my way or the highway when it comes to opinions, right? I definitely see what you're saying.
Well, your opinion is definitely wrong.
You do get me feeling like that sometimes,
What the fuck? You always get me feeling like that, bro.
Well, it's not my
All fighting
fault.
games are numbers, bro. No, they're not, bro.
That's not even an opinion.
You-
That's a
That's your
mathematical
opinion.
fact.
No, it's not, bro.
We're not doing this right now. What are your...
You're always plus if you're just not a bitch.
Oh my god, I can't believe
I mean, okay, we're
No,
gonna have to,
don't
we're
even
gonna-
know. Stop
No.
it.
No, I was like, we're
Go
gonna
back
have
to
to
your
stop
thing.
right there. We're gonna have to stop. We're gonna hold that thought for tomorrow or later.
Also,
or after all this stuff.
MK11,
Wait, what about MK11?
it's great. As a
mean,
crossover.
Okay.
It I was trying to think earlier, too, of like modern games that have broken into the like crossover character realm of like being probably iconic now. MK11 had a good crossover list too.
Metal Gear Solid 3, Ape Escape,
I
Godlike.
Mortal Kombat is my favorite horror game.
exactly.
Wait, what? I can't. I unmuted myself. What?
That's honestly not even memes. That's kind of facts at this point.
I mean, yeah, the past handful of games have all had constant horror characters as DLC, and they fit really well.
A little too
Oh,
well.
if
honestly.
we're going by horror characters, Dead by Daylight.
Oh yeah, I
Shit,
forgot that like
crossover.
Day by
That
Daylight
shit
actually has a lot
godlike.
of freaking.
Anyways, we're just saying
Dead by
things.
Daylight is a
It's
horror
turn, dang
crossover
it.
game.
Yeah, we're probably
Giving
spoiling
him
this.
ideas.
Well, I mean, I
Giving
don't
him
know.
ideas,
Oh wait, I
dog.
forgot. Esteban. Well, I don't know if Esteban was still gonna try and make a list, but go ahead.
All right, so my first two are going to be. Dang, what was my first? Oh,
Oh, God.
PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale.
Oh,
and
I
mostly
heard that game
because-
in a while.
I knew someone in here was
Right.
gonna bring that up. I was just waiting.
Like, okay, look, okay, my only characters that I really did care about
Correct.
besides like Kratos was Jack and Daxter. Like, they didn't put Crash Bandicoot in there. I was
Not even
very-
Nathan Drake, dog.
Nathan's also cool. He's also cool.
I just gotta say
Kratos
that
is
like,
busted.
everyone saw that roster and said, yeah, it could be way better. But everyone I knew still had at least two characters they were happy about.
Rapper the Rapper
Yeah.
and Jack and Daxter. That was my
They
two. I was
had
like,
basically everyone. that
Ratchet
knew
and
it.
Clank and Parappa for me. Those are the two.
Oh.
I was like, yeah, they're here.
like,
Spike
Jack-
and Nathan Drake.
Drake and Cole were cool inclusions.
And then this was a GBA one, so this was a
I'm
GBA.
waiting for Ape Escape 4.
This was a GBA crossover because me and my brother had two different opposites. We both liked the same games, but we didn't. But we also, but if you told us what our number one favorites were or what our game was best at, it was the Crash and Spyro ones. So Crash Orange
Hey.
and Spyro Purple.
Yeah,
Oh.
the Game Boy games.
Now, granted, now that I think about it, it was just a bunch of mini games. It wasn't like a series of platformers, which was kind of disappointing. But back then, like, you know, Crash beating the crap out of like the bosses like Ripto and from like the Spyroverse, and then
It's a cool
Spyro beating
crossover.
like, yeah, it was a really cool crossover at the time. I didn't beat the game, unfortunately. I didn't
got
know where to
stuck at
find.
some point. I forgot where.
Right. It was like the final bosses we got stuck with. But just having Crash and Spyro like actually meet up, and our favorite characters actually going against the same bosses and stuff, that was kind of a cool crossover. Even if the game wasn't as great, but you know, not everything is supposed to be a hit. Not every fun
Got the
favorite
joke.
game. Yeah, it was not every fun game has to be a critically acclaimed hit. Sometimes it could be a miss.
Question: does Sonic and Knuckles count as a fucking crossover or no?
I believe
No.
not.
I
Okay.
don't know.
Wait,
I
a
can't.
crossover of what?
Sonic and Knuckles, bro.
What?
Knuckles is
No, it's okay,
Hold on. Sonic and Knuckles.
Okay.
Civil
The
War.
only reason why that I asked this question is because as I was listening to his story, for some reason it made me think of Dante's appearance in Shin Megami Tensei. That's not on my list.
Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry.
But yeah, so my brain was like, bro, why does no one have like the thumbnail of what started the meme of crossover
I
featuring
was thinking.
Dante?
Well, I mean, I don't know who are all super Shin Megami Tensei fans here, but I feel like that was gonna be on someone's list eventually.
I am not
I'm
a
not
fan.
gonna
but I
lie,
do know
part of me wanted really badly to just say Joker from Persona 5 as a crossover, because he's in everything.
That'd
Yeah,
be an understandable
yeah,
pick.
everything.
He's my favorite character from AFK Arena.
I'm
Bro,
fucking
he's
dead.
in so much stuff.
He's
In
my
fact,
favorite Smash character.
I have a character that
He's my
is-
favorite
He's
Mortal
got a
Kombat
list
character.
saved of all the things he was in.
He's gonna be my
Mortal
favorite Persona 5 Arena character when that comes out.
He's gonna be my favorite Persona 2 Arena character when we get that game in 20 years.
Bro, he's my favorite Persona. I don't know what we're
Yeah,
talking
Persona
about.
Jedi,
Anyway,
yeah. No, you're right.
that was the
Speaking
only
of-
question.
Speaking
Really.
of Persona 5, I got the vanilla version of Persona 5 just out from a few days, I think a month ago, so I haven't played it yet.
Oh, I'd say cool, but I would also say you should trade that in and get Royal.
But I heard, from what I've heard, people like the ending of vanilla more than Royal's
I
ending.
think you can get the ending from Vanilla in Royal.
Yeah, you can
don't do
just
certain
play
things.
Royal and then stop, and that's P5.
You did it.
I don't know. I don't like. Look, I don't know. Don't care.
Listen, bro,
I
listen. Royal basically has everything that Vanilla has, plus quality of life changes that are implemented to just make it overall better game. Just get
Right.
Royal.
But if you can't get Royal, I would say it's fine that you have original. Just play it because
Yeah.
it's a sick freaking game.
Yeah. Either way, play the game,
Yeah.
but like Royal's better.
All right, because like I know, I don't think I saw Royal in that GameStop I had. So all I had
Then-
was vanilla.
Yeah, I guess you.
There's something wrong with your GameStop then.
Well, that's probably you got what you could at least. But
Yes.
anything about Crash and Spyro? Iconic.
There was a Spyro reference in Crash 4. Boom.
Yes. In
This?
no, not in Crash
Yeah,
4.
there's a
he
little
was-
inflatable
he was-
tube that's
yeah, he was
purple
in
and
the-
has
in
I still
Spyro's
need
head.
to get Crash 4. I need to play it eventually.
It's
Oh,
hard
in
as
Crash
fuck,
4.
bro.
Okay, right.
It's hard.
Wrong
Oh,
one.
dang it.
It's
No, it's
hard
not
if you want
hard.
it to be. There's a ton of extra like challenge and bonus content, and the game is clearly built for you to do it. But a lot of the bonus content is really obnoxious.
And I did all of it. It was not worth it.
Like if you play just the game as is and don't do any of the side stuff, you'll beat it in like 5 hours. But if
Yeah,
you
we-
want to 100% it, you're looking at like a 120-hour game.
Sounds like I'm not gonna 100% it then. Cool.
I mean, if you want the endings of like all the characters afterwards, like like in Crash 1.
I need to know what happens to Dingo Dial.
Oh,
Yes.
Dang it.
I need to know what happens to Tanwa. Or
Hanwa?
yeah, that-
Did you say
Tanwa?
Tanwa?
Hanwa?
You're talking about the new
Tana.
It's wait,
The W
Tana?
is before the N.
Tanya?
It's
Wait,
been a-
what?
It's Tana.
Tana.
Oh,
Tana.
Well,
my.
she's not the actual Tana from like Crash 1.
Spoilers, dog. He hasn't played the game yet.
It's okay. Catch the award. He was
well,
a
I
catch the
thought the
award.
whole premise of the game is like alternate time shenanigans. Anyways,
Yeah.
whatever.
We don't know
Crash
that.
and
He wants
Spyro.
wants to kiss himself and it's weird.
I...
I'm sorry, what?
That's the best part.
Tim, what are your next two?
And I'll be right back.
So my number 8 is Kirby and the Amazing Mirror on the Game Boy Advance. It's a Kirby
I
game
respect
that's
that.
kind of like a Metroidvania Kirby, and it's kind of fun, kind of cool. But one of the powers in the game is just straight up called Smash, and one of the mini bosses is Master Hand
Wait, really?
And Crazy Hand. I
and
think both
Crazy
of these
Hand.
are-
Like they both show up. And when you get the Smash power, it's literally you have a Smash moveset. Like you have the hammer, the cutter up B, the stone down B, and a couple ground normals.
Yo, that's pretty sick.
They straight up put it like a Smash moveset for Kirby in a Kirby game, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I always thought that was a really creative like way to kind of cross over Kirby having been in Smash and having some handful of powers. It's a good way to make like an all-rounder like power in Kirby. I thought it was a cool idea. And then my number 7 is Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yo.
Crossover of
I'm
two of my
Sonic.
favorite puzzle games. And then Puyo Tetris 2 has Sonic, so extra crossover points. But I love those puzzle games. They integrate real well. I like seeing more interactions with the Puyo cast, especially dubbed. After all this time, there were so many games that either just don't come overseas or don't get a dub. But now we got to have the entire, like, a bunch of them dubbed, and it's like, oh, this is great. I can finally hear these characters. The Puyo characters are awesome, and I love them. So I was happy to have more interactions with them, and having that in a crossover with Tetris stuff is fun too. It's a good game.
I just want to say that I actually agree with you that it's a really great crossover game, and
It's simple and adorable.
yeah, spoiler alert, I'm still gonna keep it on the list, but I just want to say that I can definitely see what you're saying. Puyo Puyo Tetris, it really was another thing is really great at making it feel authentic both to Tetris and Puyo Puyo. You're like, oh wow, these are still the same games. I like the fact
Really
that
good combination.
how it switched back and forth, how it's like you were playing one game and then playing another. I thought that was really brilliantly done, and I like how you could sabotage your opponent. If it was about to switch a game, you're like, okay, I'm going to sabotage this person, so when I go back to Tetris, he'll go
Yo, you're
overboard.
revealing our local strats. I can't tell you how many times we had our Puyo locals, and you can tell who's better at
Puyo
Puyo and
locals?
who's better at You can tell
Oh.
who's better at one than the other, and that's what you
Right.
strategize. Like, yo, I'm gonna bring all the garbage down on Puyo because I know you suck at Puyo, and then bodied. It's freaking great.
Jokes on you, I'm bad at both. Get shown.
Well,
Jokes on you, I'm great at both.
Yeah.
Jokes on you, I'm just okay.
we need to bring these back to our locals again. I feel like we haven't brought it in a while, but then again, we
We'll
mainly
definitely
brought
play
it around to the Porterville locals. We gotta bring it around here.
Yeah, they definitely, like, the way they implement the two together is really good. Like, legitimately, even if you weren't a fan of both, it's a really good game for just one. It has a lot of good Puyo content and a lot of good Tetris content. And then it has all sorts of game modes to interact the two, between swapping mid-game or the really cursed one where you play them at the same time.
You don't
Yeah,
like,
you have the choice.
you don't like fusion? Fusion's actually kind of easy once you learn.
Fusion is... I don't like it, it's uncomfortable to me.
Fusion is sick,
It
but
took
it
me
hurts
like a
my
solid
brain.
month.
Well, it does click. Like, I have gotten better at it just because the story mode has made me play it so much. But every time I'm mad, I'm just like, I have to think too hard. I don't like this.
Dude, blocks and bubbles don't mix. I'm not home.
They do not.
No, but you guys got some fucking Chad opinions right now.
Yeah. Puyo Tetris 2 this is a great game.
Now I'm about to play that shit on my Switch.
I should get it on Switch.
And it's dead. Fuck. Okay, never mind.
I have
what
1
is
and
your-
2 on my Switch.
What are your
Ah,
two
it's
Digimon?
Bottom two. This one is more so the game itself, just because I feel like it's a giant homage to just It's very hard to say what this is an homage to, but I would just say gaming and anime media as a whole. And yes, it's a Flash game. Epic Battle Fantasy series. I used to love...
Hey, that totally counts. It has crossovers of like a billion
It has... Every single game has a crossover from something, and even and/or references. My
The
favorite
first game you can
reference-
summon like Pokemon as your summon next to
literally
like chocobos.
the fact that Dead Goku was a boss fight, as to me as a kid in the Flash days, I like pooped myself. I was like, oh my god, Goku! Fuck, I'm dead! But like this series, I bought the 5th one and I'm a pre-order the 6th one. I've been in love with this franchise because I felt like it still keeps the old school retro clicks, statistics, elemental strategy, turn-based game RPG, and I love that. It's simple, but the fan service is Project X Zone level of fun, I would say at least. My favorite, I guess, interaction was in 4, and it was when I crossed over tombstones of dead characters, and all of them were vague descriptions of other characters from video games. One of them was Cloud, because it has his sword on his grave. It's just covered from the back.
Oh, is that tricky? Oh, that's cool.
One is Goku. Another one is actually from Persona, but I don't know the character. Can't really say. And I can't remember the other two, but it was so funny to me because every character that you have, because you see how you have these 4 characters to play as, you can control one on the hub world, but they all have their own interactions based off of what you touch. They all have their own personalities, which makes not even just the world building, but like the setting just as fun and creative. It feels like being a big ass nerd in a sandbox RPG. It's a fun fuck around. It's super passive. It's really hard too. Like, it looks easy by how they're just mowing through stuff, and yeah, granted, but like second half, usually this game has a like fun difficulty spike because they know by this point you should be good enough and smart enough to deal with what's coming. Like that. You see that fucking dead cat? Oh yeah, cats are god in this timeline and world. I don't understand it, but it makes sense. There's God Cat and Death Cat. Deal with it.
Well, alrighty.
And then my next crossover, I screamed about it earlier, was MLB Slugfest, where you get to bring Sub-Zero and Scorpion to the baseball field. That shit was so funny.
Wait,
The fact that Midway Games, at that era, they were trying to be so expressive with their sports games, and I love that. That was how the way to make sports more fun for video games. Why the fuck would I play 2K when I could go outside and play basketball? Why the fuck would I play MLB when I could just go play stickball? Making the world creative and imaginative is what makes like sports games amazing and interesting. The fact that Mario appeared in basketball games, I guarantee you everyone and their mama, including their daddy, played that game because Mario was in it. Who the fuck played Streets Volume 1? A lot of people did, actually. That's kind of why.
Wait, so what is it called?
Oh, I never knew
MLB
this, actually.
Slugfest, Scorpion and Sub-Zero make an appearance. There's a, you know the old school era where you used to be able to type codes in a loading screen?
Yeah.
You used to be able to type one, and if you got in a specific one, you could have them both be on your team. And no matter who caught the ball, and it was so funny how they would graphically switch. Everyone would be in the field like normal baseball players in their outfits, but whoever had the ball, they would just magically poof into Sub-Zero and Scorpion. No load time, no teleport, it's just Scorpion. I love that. I wish more games got to be this creative, because now sports games are a dead genre.
It's a simulation, basically.
Yeah. Why is a video game a simulation? I want to go fighting games. I'll go throw a Hadouken in the street.
If you do, if you manage that, I'm calling the police.
I would say that the last real creative sports game was Blitz League series. I think after that,
I only disagree with you because there's another football game that no one knows about that came out recently.
what is
Mutant. It's a game that was revived from the Genesis era called Mutant Football League, but they flipped the name to modern day, calling League Mutant Foot. Fuck, it's in my Steam library. Let me go find it.
I'll look that game up. I might want to give
Mutant
it a
Football League is the new version, and there's a Genesis version with the name of that same thing, but all the words are flipped around. And this is an homage to that. And that game is literally what I hope Mario Football will be as a dream come true. Anyway, those are my two.
Alright.
Look it up.
I have it. We can parsec it. It's 4 players. This game is so fucking stupid. You can run over your players. You can kill them. You can put them in spikes. You can literally throw them out of bounds. You can put acid in the middle of the field. It's so fun.
Put it in
Yeah.
the Discord.
It's so fun. This game is hilarious.
You know, that's the thing, and as you know, I know this is a little bit off subject, but as creative as a game like Fall Guys is, I mean, their soccer league is basically just a regular soccer game. There's nothing creative about that. So, you know, I agree that nowadays we don't really have that many creative sports games nowadays, and it is a shame.
It is a shame because I don't think the genre is really bad. It's just that people just think fucking testosterone syndrome douchebags play this all day, but no, they're gamers. Look at Mario Kart. There's a reason why no one over is fucking playing, what's that game called? Need for Speed or NASCAR or
Speed's been kind of whack for the past several years.
But I can tell you one racing game everybody did play. Burnout.
Mario Kart.
Oh, well, both of those, yes.
Yeah, actually. But you get my point. The games of sports, you gotta bring to a fantasy. You can't have it be realistic. That's not what a video game is, kind of.
Let's see. Well,
I put it in general.
I
It's
might
a fun
need to-
fuck around game.
Sorry. I might need to mulligan my order, but for now we'll do this.
Anyway.
Everyone knows
Heck.
my. Wait, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I say anyway. I'm done. I'll go mute myself now.
What? Alright. Everyone knows my taste in games by now, but those of you
Yeah, they're
that,
bad.
well, you're
I'm
wrong.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm
I
just kidding.
told you so. Sonic and Knuckles is a crossover.
Oh gosh, dang it.
Ah,
Those of you that have been around locally, you guys know that I didn't really get into Soul Calibur. It took me a bit to like get used to 3D fighters in general, but the one thing that even made me give Soul Calibur 6 the time of freaking day was freaking 2B being added. Good lord. The timing was also perfect because like it was funny enough was around the time that I had like just finished Nier Automata. It's been settled as like in my top 10 favorite games of all time. But
I'm back.
what's number one?
wait, number one favorite
Your
game?
favorite game of all time, right here. Go.
Well, it's actually kind of hard.
I'm about to judge the fuck out of you if it's a
See,
shit
this
game.
is why I have my top 25
wait,
games
I
of all
have a
time
bunch-
ready at hand
I'll
at
just
all
say
times.
Sonic Unleashed until I replay it.
Oh, okay, I respect that.
Alright.
Wait, it just dawned on me on the back of my head. I have one honorable mention.
Oh, go ahead.
It is not even. He didn't even get to appear in the game, but it's the fact that he happened at an event that made everyone shit themselves, and we got something else instead. Snake supposedly being in Tekken 7,
Oh, yeah.
Gosh.
When they pulled that mess at Evil.
but
Good
I
lord.
will say this: I was still so happy the fact that even voice line exists because it shows. It
It
shows
shows
that
that cameo is used for evil.
Well,
used
it
for
also
evil.
shows that
and-
people care enough to want it.
Yeah, no, it showed people care enough to want it. It showed that people are like. It showed
And if that
the
would have
world-
happened, I would have been a Tekken player, bro.
Oh no, everyone would have. That game would have been like fighting game for the next 3 years.
Yeah. Oh
Ask
my
Smash
God.
would not have got the handle. Bro, MGS fans?
Holy frick.
Bro, MGS fans are fucking diehard. You know how hard they shit themselves when he got showcased in Brawl? When he first pulled out that box?
Tekken sales would like quadruple
Mhm.
if Snake got freaking revealed.
If Snake took Fakuram's place, nobody would be mad. I'm just saying. I thought Fakuram was cool, but I was still just like, it ain't Snake. Don't care. You got a Snake tattoo,
That's fair.
but it ain't Snake. Anyway, I'm sorry. That was my honorable mention. That was just a historical moment.
Dang it! Now it's really making me wish that could have actually happened.
We all wished it.
Yeah, but well, in fact, same with Tekken. People already knew I wasn't a Tekken player. I was a Lucky Chloe player. I was never a Soul Calibur player. I played freaking 2B because they integrated her pretty well. And I don't know what they bothered to do lore-wise or if it even makes sense. Who cares? She's freaking there, and
Dude.
she fits the gameplay. She's tossing our weapons, so it's cool.
Dude,
Link
it's awesome,
from,
bro.
Soul Calibur 2.
Bro. You know, there are many Smash players that walk in with that same joke, being like, "Oh, dude," or not. Yeah, Smash players go into other FGC games, like learning King of Fighters. There was a guy at the Roseville local, and he was like, "Oh, bro, I main Terry from Smash," and I was like, "I really hope you just lose a brain cell."
Jeez.
But the
Well-
thing is, he was dead serious because he was like, "Where's Terry from?" And I was just like, "Fatal Fury." He said, "You mean King of Fighters, right?" And I was like, "Now I feel like you're fucking."
No, this is the thing where you need to make sure you're not insensitive and you're aware of where sometimes these are the introductions people have to these characters. Although with 2B, I highly doubt most people would look at 2B and think she's a Soul Calibur character.
I thought she was from Kingdom Hearts.
No, someone.
No, that's good.
It's so funny because when people forget that Terry crosses over in so many other games outside of Smash.
Well, and also a lot of people don't even know his like original origins, nor would they care to know, because if you don't
Same
know him
for,
from Smash,
Rio.
you know him from King of Fighters.
So the thing
for
is,
real.
yeah, it's a shame if you see someone go, "Where's Terry from Smash?" I would be more upset if they went, "Wait, Terry's a dude?"
Yet, oh, I've heard that
Oh my
too.
god!
Oh man, that would be upsetting.
That would
that's
anger me.
funny. Nah, dude, that's Rock Howard.
That's a rock. But this goes to show like what crossovers can do. In fact, the reason I mentioned it in my tweet, about Majin Obama's video because I don't know how many of you did watch it, and he brought up the point of what crossovers can do for bridging audiences together, but also making them aware of characters' origins, or even at the very least, bringing people to even like bother with your game. I'm not gonna let Ricardo meme
What
about
the
it,
fuck?
but no, well, hold on, I'm not gonna let Ricardo meme about this, but no matter what people feel about Saber,
Okay, nice
being
way to go with this
added
now.
to Lumina got people to buy the freaking
It
game.
was the only
That's-
character I recognized at face value.
Exactly, and
The only character I still care about.
Exactly. 2B is the same thing for me. I legit would not. I mean, I maybe would have like simped for some waifus if people convinced me hard enough, but I really
Oh,
would
yeah.
not have given Soul Calibur 6 the time of day if 2B wasn't in the game. That's what crossover characters can do. And Dengeki is here more so as a general shout out to assist fighters, which to clarify earlier, I know we were compared to BB Tag, but assist fighters are their own like subgenre because they, for some reason, assist fighters, they do this thing of making like relatively simple fighting games, but also anime wackiness that brings all of these anime characters that have no business being in a fighting game, and they make it work. Because one, I didn't know like 90% of the people in Dengeki.
I'm
But
glad this is in multiple lists, by the way.
yeah, I had to have it in here because also, once you do find out about some of these characters, that like some of these are from freaking light novels. Some of them like the freak.
One of them's dead.
Like, it's the stuff that the characters do, their move list somehow makes sense, but they're not even like necessarily fighters. It's funny. It's great and executed pretty darn well. And since
I
it's an
spend
assist,
half of the game clapping and going, I understand these references.
that's the other layer on top of it. Because also with it being an assist fighter, even if not all the even if not all the characters are playable, assist fighters do this thing where they have a giant cast that you still get to see and still get references from, even if they're not main characters. They at least get an assist, and they do something that references whatever show or whatever they're from, and it's funny. This isn't even the only assist fighter on my list, but I had at least had to have Dengeki in here regardless.
If it don't start with a T, it's not good enough. I'm joking.
Well,
I'm joking.
well,
I'm not that guy.
No, it's also because I legit couldn't think of much other things, so I might mulligan something later on depending on what you guys.
Dude, as this has been going on, there's been more like crossovers popping in my head more often than not.
See, there you go.
Alright.
David, go ahead with your next two. David.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Is the
there
mic
you go.
working now? Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
go
All
ahead.
right. So I'm gonna quickly grab my notes. 1 moment, please. And then all right. We're at number 6 now, right? So for number 6, my pick is going to be. Is actually going to be so. I'll just say there were several Super Smash Brother choices. Obviously, there are lots of choices. I think I obviously don't play Super Smash Bros. Competitively. I'm horrible at it competitively, but I do like to play the game casually. I think it's a really great crossover of games, and there are several games to choose from. But if there is one game I'm going to give the crown to, it's actually going to be Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Because in my opinion, that is the game that really revolutionized, the crossovers ideas in Super Smash Brothers. Sure, the modern one, the Super Smash Brothers for the Nintendo Switch, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it has so many crossover characters which really fit in well. It has an army of them. But as good as that is, I don't think it would have gotten to that point if it weren't for Super Smash Brothers Brawl.
So
I mean,
you're giving the OG its props essentially.
Yes, if I have to pick one per franchise, I'm giving the crown to the OG. Sure, there was Super Smash Bros. Melee. It was a good idea. They did bring in some characters from other franchises, which I thought was great. I think Fire Emblem, right? That was a crossover.
Yeah,
They brought
Melee
that.
was legit the start of Nintendo reminding everyone that Fire Emblem exists.
But
Good times.
that's true. But I think what really revolutionized it though was Brawl. Now, Super Smash Brothers, like the original Super Smash Brothers, I think most of the characters, if not all the characters, were made by or published by Nintendo. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was
the
good.
original Smash Bros is just Nintendo
This-
characters.
I see.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyways, point is that Super Smash Brothers Brawl, so as the Nintendo 64 Super Smash Bros. Doesn't in my my rules of list, my own rules I made, that would not qualify for a crossover anyway. So, anyways, we're getting sidetracked. Brawl, I think for one, Ron, you're gonna like to hear this, but I think it was a great idea to add in Sonic, add in a character, from this, adding Sonic himself and putting him into Super Smash Brothers Brawl. I thought that was a really great idea, especially adding in a Metal Gear Solid character and actually making it work. What do you think?
Oh, it's literally one of the best decisions they ever made. Do you know how much the game freaking sold from getting Sonic and Snake into that freaking game?
Yep.
How many people
Yeah,
lost their minds seeing those announcements?
Yeah,
Uh,
I like
didn't
that about
see the
Sonic. I didn't know who
announcements,
Snake was.
and you know the thing, the
Keep in
big
mind I
thing
was
is
7.
that- yeah, the big thing is that it actually worked. That it actually worked adding them in. What I really liked about Super Smash Bros. Brawl was the big adventure mode it had. I like the fact that each character actually got to have their own time to shine. Like, when Snake finally made it into the story mode, they actually played, the Metal Gear Solid music in there, and it actually felt like it was you were playing as a Metal Gear Solid character. It actually felt like you were in the Metal Gear Solid 1 universe. You know what I mean?
Sneaking
So-
around on the halberd and then
Uh,
hiding in a box in the Cario can sense you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that cutscene is forever ingrained in my brain.
Yeah, one part where Captain Falcon murdered all of Voldemort's Pikmin. Oh, it was amazing.
Bro,
So, and I also did like the Shadow Moses stage. I thought that's I think one of the best stages ever added in Super Smash Brothers.
It's
I
a
really
pretty
liked-
cool stage.
it is.
Yeah, and they added in the Encounter is one of my favorite OSTs. In Super Smash Brothers. I really like the Encounter song they added. You know what I mean by the Encounter,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Metal
yeah,
Gear
well, it's
Solid.
another
Yeah, it's
iconic thing
getting
of
caught.
Brawl.
It's
The song
iconic.
selection.
Yeah, and yeah, that's true. The song collection was really great. As I said, I really like how it revolutionized the crossover idea in Super Smash Brothers, and I also like the mini games. I thought they were all great. The boss battles were pretty good. That's more of a side note. That's not really crossover stuff, but the point is that I think the one thing that really made me like it was the fact that each character in the story mode got their own time to shine. So the story mode had a lot of good things. Did have a lot of silly things, but also had a lot of a lot of good things. I think Ganondorf not being an actual villain, only having like one scene of being a villain, was kind of cheesy. I think they could have done more with that. But anyways, but besides that, I also like the stage designs, the music. I like how each character, there was just so much to do, so many mini games they had. Each character even had their own trophies from their own games, which you'd be like, wait, where's that character come from? And you would actually see the other characters in the games. I thought that was pretty good too. So yeah, as I said, Super Smash Brothers Brawl, the entire series, that gets the crown. So anyone want to say anything?
Brawl definitely gets merit because having been a fan of Smash my whole life, the go-to thing with everything about Smash is one person saying, "Dude, it would be so cool if this character was in Smash," and then someone saying, "But that'll never happen because," and then whatever reason. And Brawl was the first to break one of those big reasons, which was, man, we couldn't put Sonic in this game. He's not Nintendo. And ever since then, as the series has gone on, progressively more and more whatever reasons people want to come up with have been proven wrong. At the end of the day, if it's a video game character and I think it'll work, they'll put it in. But that all really started with Brawl putting in Sonic and Snake and making them work really well. That really set the tone of, oh yeah, it doesn't just have to be Nintendo. It can be whatever they want.
Yeah,
so absolutely, it deserves legacy points for that, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right, about what you just said. I completely agree with you, and thank you for your support. Like to this day, I never thought. I mean, who would have ever thought that a character from Tekken 4 Kazuya, like a dark game like Tekken 4, would eventually end up in a a Nintendo game?
Yeah,
Did you ever-
exactly.
Sakurai is a genuine.
But it all started with Snake and Sonic.
Yeah. So
And then you got a character from like Minecraft, which is like a PC or Microsoft character in there. So yes, Steve. Who else was like from a different?
Well,
Those
I'll
is-
spoil it now. We'll be talking more about Smash very soon.
I mean, I'm here, so.
Well, exactly. I figured a lot of us will be talking about Smash regardless. But what's your?
So on my list was also a given.
No worries. What's your other one?
my other one is that is actually going to be Scorpion in Injustice
Hey,
1
Whoops.
as a guest character. Wait a minute. I think I might have said that in the wrong order. I'm sorry, Ronald. Is it okay if you switch the order? Can you switch? Yeah.
Scorpion
Super
number
Smash
6.
is number 5 and Scorpion is number 6. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I'm correct.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you.
Go ahead.
So, I'll tell you why I included that. So, a lot of people were saying that after Mortal Kombat vs. DC was released, as good as Mortal Kombat 9 was, as good as Injustice 1 was, a lot of people was saying like, oh yeah, those two characters can never cross over again. We gotta make sure they're separated. Scorpion in Injustice is the one who contradicted that completely. I thought Scorpion in Injustice was really great. He really felt like he was a Mortal Kombat character. Didn't just feel like a character in Injustice. You were like, this kind of shows that those universes could cross over. That idea was, I think that showed the idea that Mortal Kombat versus DC could still legitimately happen. And I think that Scorpion as a guest character in Injustice, as this one character really stood out from the other characters. If you actually played Scorpion, you would feel like you're playing as a Mortal Kombat character who got sucked into the DC universe, and I thought that was really well done. And even though they're made by the same company, again, 2 different universes, so yes, that qualifies. So, I play as Sub-Zero, I don't play as Scorpion. Sorry, Sub-Zero, but I'm picking the OG. Just like I did in Super Smash Brothers, I'm picking the OG character to start that whole thing. And Mortal Kombat 11, in another example, they did a great job adding in Joker. And a lot of people are going to scream at me for saying this, but I'm really hoping that the next NetherRealm game is a Mortal Kombat vs. DC 2, because I really think that kind of game can still happen. And with their current budget, I think it can work.
I think they've definitely learned a handful of lessons from what to do with it. So I think they'd definitely be a big improvement.
I hope they do.
Yeah, I can see that.
Agreed. And I know some people might be saying, why is David putting this over Capcom versus SNK? Well, I'll tell you what, Capcom versus SNK, that was a whole crossover game, and I did say the good things it had. But you see, Scorpion in Injustice, I think that as a guest character in Injustice, I think it really felt a lot more authentic to Mortal Kombat. It actually, how should I say, it really made Scorpion stand out a lot better than the characters in Capcom vs. SNK. SNK really felt like they did feel authentic to both of them, but it wasn't really as strong as Scorpion being in Injustice. Does that make sense, or do you have any questions? Or...
Nah, that makes sense.
I like to say quality over quantity. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah, exactly.
less needs more. So yeah, that's why I put Scorpion over Capcom versus SNK 2. So let's see, was there anything else I was gonna say? Oh yeah, one other quick thing I wanted to add in is that I know I've said this before, but in Mortal Kombat 11, there actually is a cutscene there. This is spoiler free, but I'll just say there is a cutscene that does confirm that Mortal Kombat versus DC is canon. That's all I'll say. There's one cutscene in there. So.
Oh yeah, it's a canon universe because it shows all the universes we're waiting and fight.
That's correct. And there actually is a there in one of the universes, it actually shows where Raiden is fighting Liu Kang, and the rage, quote unquote, in Mortal Kombat vs. DC story. You remember that little thing that was possessing them?
Mm-hmm.
in Mortal Kombat 11, there is a scene where they're both possessed by the rage, and you actually see Liu Kang and Raiden fighting each other, and it's in the same atmosphere as, like, in the same space universe, space world as it was in Mortal Kombat vs. DC. So that did, like, confirm, you know, that small scene did confirm it was canon. So yeah, you're right. It's the multiverse, though not multiverse, the multiple timelines that happened.
Timelines,
Huh?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Sorry if I talked a little bit too much about that. I got a little carried away.
I know.
Just too big of a fan of Mortal Kombat.
It's always good to be excited for your answers. Like,
Yeah.
you should be happy with what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That
Thank you.
was 8765. Okay. Am I still there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just spaced out for a second. Like,
No,
Been
I
spacing
just
out a
wondered,
lot.
I heard you say anything in a while.
sorry, I just spaced out.
But, well, I mean, unless David had anything else to say.
Unless there are any questions or comments, I'll check the Twitch channel. Unless there are any other questions or comments, I think that was all there was to say for those two games.
Honestly, even though these aren't really Smash characters in like Brawl, just having the characters like as assist trophies, like you see Isaac from Golden Sun or Shao the Hedgehog, characters that wouldn't, or Waluigi, even though Waluigi wasn't really a playable character, or you got to see like someone like the bosses like Ridley in them. That was pretty good. That was also pretty cool. Like you seeing all those characters, or like the Pokemon from the Pokeballs and everything. You know, just seeing those characters like being represented, and even like using the Mii costumes as well, or seeing like characters that from different other games
Like
that were
Brawl, like kind of like similar to how Sonic and Snake broke the rules for other stuff. Brawl was also the first to really go ham with things like bosses and assist trophies, like more than just Pokeballs. Of like, oh, we have a ton of IPs and things we can cross over. Let's go crazy with it.
right.
Same like the
'cause,
stickers too. There's a billion stickers in Brawl and
There's
trophies
so
that are
many
all these references to so many things, and it's like, oh, look at all these things I might know.
right.
Yeah.
But it's like when you see the characters like in assist trophies or like in Pokeballs, you get that, especially being that these characters can also be like you have like these characters that are helping you out as well. Besides them being stickers, you get these feeling like, oh, sick. So Andros is helping me out. It helped me beat the living crap out of my opponents, or I get to use Isaac. Isaac just pushes people.
Yo, Lin
Or
gets to slash Snake upside the head. Let's go.
Yep, or Saki from
Freaking Sin and Punishment.
From Sin and
You're gonna run
Punishment.
around
Like,
and shoot Sonic in the face. Let's go.
I was like, man, Shadow as well. It's like,
Oh, wait.
Yo,
Is that one of your answers, by the way, or were you adding on to that?
oh, that was well. Actually, Smash Bros was also in one of my top favorites as well.
Well,
So I
it's
would
like
have to
your
put
6
that
and 5 or
in.
no?
That would be up in 4.
Well,
But,
we'll get to that. Well,
Spoilers.
We'll get
Right.
your 6 and 5 right now.
All right, get my 6 and 5. Well, let's see. Ooh. I don't know this one as much as Project X Zone, but Namco versus Namco Crops Capcom was also up there as one of my faves. Just like from what I've seen, bits and pieces, just knowing some of the characters that were in there, like such as Kai and Gil from Tower Jiraga,
Yep.
and the Klonoa characters. You know, you got the characters from Namco, like Tekken 4, Jin Kazuma and his father Kazuya. Who else was there? I don't even remember. I can't really remember, but
You had the guy
You know-
from Dig Dug.
yes, the Dig Dug character player. Man, those are wild. And then you got Ghosts and Goblins, Arthur.
Yep, you got Arthur.
So, you know, when I saw the Heat Body move where Kai uses Heat Body, hold on, I gotta give you the vid because you probably won't be able to get the reference. So hold on.
You got Cosmos with I hate that name after I've learned what it stands for.
What's it stand for?
So Cosmos in Xenosaga, KOSMOS, it stands for Cosmos Obey Strategical Multiple Operation System.
Oh,
The K in
wow.
Cosmos stands for Cosmos.
Right.
I'm so mad.
Here, I'll go ahead and put this in clips.
I have a quick question. I might have heard wrong, but is Namco times Capcom, is that still Japanese exclusive, or did it get released in America?
It's Japanese exclusive.
Yeah, that's a shame because that's the kind of game I've actually been wanting to get, but obviously the region lock, does not exactly make it easy. But yeah, I would have, if I had ever had the chance to give the game a shot, there's a good chance I might have included in the list. So a little spoiler there that's not on the list, but yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about that one OC character from that crossover, the Fox character, that Fox girl? She pretty bae. She pretty bae. Gotta admit that.
I need a name because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let me see.
Google is telling me it's Reiji Arisu?
I think so. Hold on. I'm gonna have to look.
Oh wait, no, that's the dude. Xiaomu? Is that it?
Xiaomu, yes.
It's Kitsune Mentor, so yeah, it might be Xiaomu.
Hey, buddy!
Get him, Arthur. Get him, Arthur. I'm Googling a picture real quick.
Xiaomu, that's her name. She is definitely waifu right there.
Oh dang, did they
admit.
put her in Cross Zone 2?
Yes, X Zone 1 and 2.
I know I read
Yeah,
And then,
she's in Cross Zone 2, yeah, huh?
and then
for putting fancy pants music here.
Got you.
Who else? Let's see. Alright, we'll go ahead and put this one in.
Right.
King
I
of
posted
Fighters?
her in the waifu channel.
Yes, she is definitely waifu.
Wait, what's your number 5, Emma?
King of Fighters 13. Yeah, it'll be 13. Cause if there's some like characters from like Sam Show in like that were in the background that you would not see. So some of the characters from that were like guest characters, or like characters that you would not see that you wouldn't see in the King of Fighters game. They actually got in. They were like characters that you would see in the background. You would be like, oh, are those characters in the back? Like, is that Shiki? Or if you saw Haomaru, or you saw Jeremy in that one part in France, so I kind of like that kind of crossover. And King of Fighters is like this. I consider it the SNK version of Super Smash Bros. Seeing all the characters from different games coming in and playing and fighting each other and stuff. So yeah, that's why I would put it in my list of.
Oh, it's not just the cameos, just the game in general.
Yeah, the game in general, just cameos and everything. That's the word. I was like, I'm losing it right now. I'm just losing it. But yeah, Xiaomu, definitely waifu material, my friend.
I know what it is.
Oh, I didn't know she wore heels. Good lord. My character, one of my characters that I draw, she actually runs. She's like the fastest run. She's like the third fastest out of all my characters, and she runs. She actually uses heels as well.
It's crazy. She's insane.
Why can't people have waifus in Converse? Tim,
I mean,
I respect it.
I could do it. I could actually get character.
It's just a thing I've noticed. But Tim, go ahead. What are your two?
My number 6 is the best stages in any WarioWare game. Any of the 9-volt stages. 9-volt, 18-volt, whichever they are. Because all of those ones in the WarioWare games are entirely crossovers to Nintendo games.
Mm-hmm.
So WarioWare already being super fun and hectic, just do micro games like crazy. You've got stages that are entirely just play a quick part of another video game. And the references they pull through are crazy. Get It Together, the one on Switch, has some really good picks in it. It has It's got a part where you need to hit like a frozen block that you like time freezed in Breath of the Wild to send it flying. It has a part where you need to pick the right option from a tea time in Three Houses. It's got some really good choices in it.
Nice.
So I give just every time I've played WarioWare, I'm a big fan of the entire franchise. Like when you get to the 9-volt stage, it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the best part, and it always is. Great way to just kind of like Nintendo to just show off a bunch of their games, but it's so fun. And then my number 5 is probably one of my favorite casts in any video game, and it's Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed.
Oh yes.
Nobi.
I am back. Sorry, I had company in my room. Also, I saw someone glimpse a bit of Namco X Bandai. You, my comrade, I'd marry you.
So like, the thing is,
He said that with confidence. You're welcome. I know I'm worth it.
I was never like huge into Sonic personally until like a little while ago. Like I like knew he existed, but never played a ton of Sonic games. I was just kind of like, oh, he's kind of cool. But
Seeing TF2 and Sonic race together was the funniest shit to me.
like, it's not even just like TF2. This is a game where I could play as the dude from Shenmue and a dude from Shogun Total War and a football manager. The
Racing
One of those
football
games is
manager
super
has
underrated.
soccer ball tires, and his license plate says Menforger.
One of these things is not like the other.
He is the coolest dude. He is so happy to be racing. I don't know why, but it's really funny. It's like, to me, that is the best character in it. Is amongst all these. Oh wait, no, not second best character. I can't forget the greatest character of all of Sega, Danica Patrick.
You know, I forgot she was there.
Just straight up actual Danica Patrick is there for some reason.
That one's a.
They went crazy.
You know what's
for this
funny
roster.
too? She wasn't even like a console exclusive. She was on each and every port. She was on the DS ones too.
Yep. They were just like,
She
no, we
was-
gotta make this crazy.
She matters to Sega.
Yep, they didn't skimp out. But she's in more versions than Football Manager. Football Manager was only on PC, I think.
So funny.
Danica Patrick is more important than the Football Manager. Sega has this as a proven statement.
Bro, Sega has like the weirdest flex in like gaming history. That's all I
I
can
know,
say.
right?
They may be bankrupt, but they're definitely just like, hey, bro, we're having.
I don't
fun.
care. This is
They-
the game
they
where you
have their
can play
moments.
as Ryo Hazuki racing against a Shogun, racing against Team Fortress characters, and against Danica Patrick. It's the greatest racing game. I don't care. I love
I
it.
don't care. Mario Kart 8, garbage. Danica
Mario
Patrick's
Kart,
fighting
get
that
out of
lava.
here.
I don't
Sega's got this. Show me when you've got like. Show me what happens when you've got like Jeff Gordon in your Mario Kart. See what
Bro, I have
happens.
tried to tell people for so long that Racing Transformed is actually a really sick freaking game, but obviously it
It
was
is a
around the
sick
time
game.
Mario Kart 8 was popping. Everyone's like, yo, you just have Sonic bias, this game's trash.
Nuh-uh.
You played
I
this
will
game.
say, all
game's
bias
freaking
about
sick.
characters aside, the game has a couple issues. It like some of the transforming stuff for certain segments is a little wonky. So like I'll support this game as much as I want. I love it, but bias aside, I'd rather play Mario Kart.
I mean, well,
Hey, you know what would be a really good guest character in those kind
Mario
of
Kart 8
games?
stole the gravity
that?
physics from zero gravity. That's all I'm saying.
You know,
he
you
said
know,
not
a
me.
really good.
He said it,
go
not
ahead.
me.
Who would that crossover character be, my friend?
It would be Tony Hawk on the same
Yo, that would be sick.
Yeah.
I want to
When
see
do
him
we
in a
make-
racing
Who
game.
do we gotta talk to make that happen?
Probably
Tony
himself. Just be like, yo, Tony, you want to be in a racing game? Where do you want to go? And he'd be
He'd
like, I'll
probably
find
just
something.
be like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Sure, I get paid. I can't do 720s anymore, so hey, I'll do something.
Well, we
Yeah,
pulled
that
off-
game's roster is godlike.
Yeah, freaking sick.
I gotta
Digimon-
find more songs for song request real quick.
Oh, yeah, if I'll put something else on in the meantime. Digimon, what's your 6 and 5? Oh, frick, where'd he go?
Shit, I'm playing King of Fighters. This is the worst time to do this.
What can you give
I'll-
your
I-
lists?
Why
Okay,
did you
wait,
pick
wait,
a
wait.
fight while
I'm
you're in a
kidding.
list?
I didn't know how long that was gonna take, but it's okay. I got a Google tab still of mine. All right,
Yeah,
next.
what is your
I'm
sixth
putting
one?
this on the list because you can't stop me. Yu-Gi-Oh!
Don't say
Bonds
Sonic
Beyond
and
Time.
Knuckles. Oh, never mind.
No, what? No,
Yeah,
that
I
was
was
a
gonna
joke.
say, don't say Sonic and Knuckles.
The reason why I'm a stretch for Bonds Beyond Time, because I'm gonna go back to that in Knuckles thing. Hold on. The reason why I say Bonds Beyond is because Duel Links exist. That's a game. All of those motherfuckers are in there. And Bonds
This
Beyond
is
Time.
still
at
a
the
heck
time,
of a push, but I'll accept it.
I don't give a fuck. Card games on motorcycles.
Movie.
Card games on motorcycles. And yes, it is a movie. Hell, if I wanted to be more
That's a movie.
specific, I'd say
Get
the
that
DS
bullshit
game.
out of here. Nah, that shit don't count.
don't care.
Put a freaking movie in a list.
Yeah.
At least some of you guys put your other stuff in your honorable mentions with this Lucky Star X Initial D shenanigan.
Yo, I would say technically Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a crossover in itself because all these cards of generations keep coming back anyway.
You
But
know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm moving
What
things
you're
up.
forcing the mentions. Dengekis are
putting-
number 8. Merry Christmas.
This is what I'm doing to your list, bro.
in my heart, Bonds Beyond Time is there because Yu-Gi-Oh! Stood as like a childhood moment where it was like seeing like all three of my favorite protagonists come in an action movie. Plot-wise, fucking stupid. Amazing though.
I just
I
have
love
to take
James.
your word for it because I've only seen the abridged dub of this, and it seemed
That's
like it
honest-
summarized
that-
it pretty well.
Nope, you're correct. You don't even gotta watch the action. Don't. That's just as good.
All you gotta know is the official version. They also don't know what the heck synchro is. Like someone
Oh.
says they're gonna synchro summon, and Yu-Gi-Oh's you're gonna synchro what?
Bro, what?
No, yeah, that's serious. That's a real thing, and I love it.
That's just the actual line.
Oh,
Anyway, but the real now that's the only thing that's not a game in this list. I promise. But
what's your next one?
the other Capcom versus SNK crossover, CVS Chaos, I think is under like it's. I felt like it was SNK expressing saying like we can do it too. It's not just Capcom, especially with their crossovers of what they had. They literally, this is the only game where Zero's bad, and I like it. The fact that people like SNK fans always say, "Oh, we need a Metal Slug character in a King of Fighters game." This is the closest we got. We got an alien with a laser beam shooting Hugo in Third Strike. That's fun.
What do you mean you need a Metal Slug character? We already have Ralph.
That's also true. That's actually that I honestly
Yeah,
wanted to
no,
put that on the
that's-
list, but I thought this one was more unique.
That's pretty freaking facts, honestly.
But CVS Chaos I thought was like a super appreciation, especially that was like that game holds my favorite design of Shinakuma. White hair is how you do it. I don't care. Purple Gi is just so sick. He makes him look so ancient. Also, the game is not as hard as it feels, or as you think for a 4-button fighter. Plus, as a kid, my mom ended up sending me that one instead from GameStop when I told her I wanted Capcom vs SNK, and I came home with that instead. And
Yeah, I had to see that coming.
no, my mom bought it for me. I wasn't tripping as a kid, but I was also just like, this is awesome.
Nice.
Why Akuma look? Also, the Capcom sprite work for the characters, I think, look way better than Alpha and 2. SNK actually like kind of flexed on their own sprite work. They made, I think those are my favorite variants of Ryu, Ken, and Akuma. Even Dan looks kind of good. I just like good sprite sheet. I like good sprite works. I'm a graphics whore for good artwork.
Good artwork can sell a game alone. Like,
Also, the voices and like conversations in that game used to be so funny. And I mean like, cause in arcade mode, some character interactions happened with like every matchup had one. And one of my favorite ones was when Iori just met Akuma, and both of them just said "die," and I was like, "That's content. Love it.
That's metal.
Awesome."
That's
It's just
canon
two,
as far as we're concerned.
two angry men look at each other. Fuck off. I love it.
It's believable.
Great. And even like, there were so many people making fun of Mai's titties, and to the point of just like it was almost like everyone was roasting her at some point. Poison kind of rags on Mai. They even make a joke saying, "Are ninjas good fireworks show for being wrestlers?" That killed me. So it kind of, I don't know, SNK made Capcom characters feel more expressive. That's what I like.
I can dig it.
But ignore Alpha. Alpha doesn't exist. And that expressive part, scratch half of that sentence if you don't realize Alpha.
Also, we got to see God Athena instead of Goddess Athena.
Oh yeah.
As well.
And Dimitri has the best super in the game that turns everyone into chicks and/or monsters.
Mm-hmm.
The one that everyone made their montage videos of way back in the day.
Yep. I just like that some of them were also references too. That was like the unique part about it, that I was like, oh, some of these are actual jokes and/or gags. That's awesome. Why is Maya a cow? I don't get it.
That gets brought up again later.
That gets brought up again. That's
Isn't that one of
weird...
her outfits in SNK?
Alright, but
I think it is. I'm not gonna look it up because that would require looking up stuff about SNK heroines.
I'll do it. Give me a second.
I at least thought I
Maybe
remember some of the.
I have no shame because I wanted to unironically buy that game to see how it actually felt, and I have not been able to find a copy for cheap, and I refuse to spend $50 on this game.
I
It feels kind of
won't
bad, not
do
gonna
that
lie.
either. I'll just find the sprite work and call it a day. What?
I want to own it.
65. I mean, do you want to pay all the money for it?
Not that much. I want to walk up to somebody and be like, I'm this guy that'll torture you. You want to try it? Because I don't want to do it alone. Oh.
Jeez.
It's like right now, $12.49 on.
Yeah, it's currently 75% off on Steam.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
You have till June 6th.
Dang. Well,
Well,
now you know
never
what you have
mind.
to do.
Nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Oh, now you're backing out?
Should I?
I'll get it for $4 cheap. I'll get it when you guys give me for $4.
I really shouldn't get it, but now I'm curious. Oh, frick.
Curiosity
Actually,
kills
wait,
the
I should
cat,
take
boy.
the bait. I don't know. But,
Don't take
I think Aaron has it, so just wait for him to come to an event, host
Yeah,
something on a
let's-
weekday he can go to, and be like, yo, let's play it, and then you'll be fine.
let's just do that instead. So,
Alright.
next...
You.
Oh yeah, that's a game that exists. The only character I recognize is Super Sonic.
Nitro
Oh.
Plus. Blaster, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
So,
Okay.
Nitro Plus is on here for the same reason Dengeki, just giving shoutouts to assist fighters, bringing anime characters that no one would have known about otherwise. In fact, Tim just said, anyone that picks up Nitro Plus, you recognize Sonico, Saber, maybe Heart, maybe Homura, and no one else. If you do recognize other characters, then cool, I guess. Nice flex. But in general, gameplay-wise, it was just a really interesting game to like try and like experiment with, finding out like stuff where these characters are freaking from, even though like I'll never actually fully check out all these one-off light novels and whatever. But it's a cool game. And I was surprised. Well, actually, I shouldn't be surprised. I was more so pleasantly surprised that they brought in Homura. Because I'm semi a Senran Kagura fan, but not really. Esteban's maybe more a Senran Kagura fan than me. And then Marvel 3
Never again
is here. Huh?
That's, so we're never getting 7. That is unfortunate.
Oh, well, I mean, gotta hold that, I guess. Marvel 3 is here more so for iconic reasons. I guess out of all the MVCs, it's just the one that stands out to me in terms of like the whole package, what it does aesthetically, gameplay-wise, and roster-wise. Like, for now on, whenever I think of MVC, I'm always gonna think of MVC 3 having freaking Phoenix Wright, having a full screen freaking level 3 where he just puts your character on freaking trial. and you just explode. It's Marvel 3 is wild.
It is.
And for
I
some
do
reason,
like
huh?
Go ahead.
Well, for some reason, being able to play as freaking Deadpool and Zero in that game
Yes.
specifically will always stand out to me. Even though
I'm a
Zero is
Tadasu.
freaking stupid.
I'm a Tadasu as well. Yo.
Funny thing is, I didn't
My
even
boy
know.
Nemesis. My boy Firebrand.
See, like, I've never been a Resident Evil fan, but I started to understand why, like, Nemesis being in Marvel 3 was so cool, and, like, his move list, like, actually, like, made sense for him. They made him work. Amaterasu, I didn't even know who that character was. I didn't know about Okami at all. So,
I'm
like, it's
pretty good.
going back to what we said about, like, crossovers can, like, bring attention to, like, the origins of characters.
I think an example, I know this is off subject, but one thing I did forget to mention, speaking of that, is that I had no idea what Metal Gear Solid was until I played Super Smash Brawl. So,
Oh,
Yep.
It's the way you get
I didn't know
introduced to
about
things. Crossover characters.
Actually, Fire Emblem got me in because of Millie. I got interested in Fire Emblem and
Exactly.
Metroid as well. So
I assure you, if it weren't for Smash Bros, I wouldn't know what Fire Emblem even freaking is.
same here, actually. When I first played Ike, I was like, oh, where's this game? This guy,
This
Pretty
guy's
sure
kind of
it's true
cool.
for,
Where's
like-
his game? Oh, it's $100. Guess I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah, I'm
yeah. And
pretty sure
I
it's
think
not
more than
memes.
half of those games are only in Japan, too. You can't even get in America.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't exaggerating earlier when I said, like, I'm pretty sure it's known by now that Melee was the start of Nintendo really trying to, like, let people know, yo, you should play some Fire Emblem. These characters
Yo,
are kind of
Right.
Americans might not be stupid. We should release one of these overseas and see if they like it.
Yeah, you're,
Oh, hey,
you're
they
right.
did.
Yeah, it was-
Sweet. Keep doing
yeah,
it.
they didn't give
Keep
us
doing it.
6.
And
boys.
look where we are now. People like Fire Emblem. Crazy. Imagine.
Yeah, we did not get freaking Binding Blade for We No Tsurugi. We should have
It's
got
great.
that
Our
one.
first Fire Emblem is Fire Emblem 7.
Right, but we should have got freaking 6 between Sacred Stones and all that.
I mean, I'm still
Shit,
the guy
good
that's
with
only played Awakening Fates and...
That's okay. That's what everyone's played is only Awakening and on.
I played
was the
Fire Emblem
start.
1, like the first Fire Emblem, through like through its remake. So that was my first Fire Emblem. Low key.
There are two kinds of people who have played Fire Emblem. You either started with Awakening, or you've played minimum 4 of the ones that are only in Japan.
I did play. Well, technically, Shadow Dragon is. Yeah, it's Japanese, so yeah, I did play that.
You are either like a super weeb who plays translated ROMs if you can, or you are like, I'm gonna start with this 3DS one.
Nah,
There is no in between. That is like 90-something% of Fire Emblem
Yeah,
players.
pretty much.
I just read it in Japanese. I was just like, okay, I'll just play the game I was played. I don't know Japanese.
Let's see. So, should we close out our top 4 for each person now?
I think so, since it is getting kind of late.
Oh,
Okay.
Because, like, I mean, we've been doing 2, but I guess each person, you can go and just give your top 4.
Okay.
So go ahead,
Alright.
David.
So I just so I have my number 4 right now, and I don't really have to explain this much because this was already mentioned. But I'm still gonna keep it on the list. Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna put
So-
2 specifically because that's one freaking Sonic.
So yeah, I already explained earlier, during this discussion why I really like the game. I like how it switches back and forth, and I'm a big fan of Tetris, and Puyo, can't say it right. Puyo Puyo, in my opinion, is not really that bad a game either. I don't mind playing it, but as I said, as someone who played Tetris and then playing that game, I'm like, this is, I just think it's a really great experience. And yeah, sure, you can play that separately, but come on, where's the fun in that,
And
right?
The combination
as well
is
just-
just so good.
Yeah. Yeah, you might as well just play the OG Tetris if you just only play it for Tetris, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm sounding like the Grinch again, am I?
Well, no, and like what we said, like I mentioned before, the cool thing about Puyo Tetris is not only is the combination itself just really good to the point where it's at freaking tournaments, but also the game gives you the option to do different modes. You can play one, you can play the other, you can play the cracked out mixture, you can play swap. It lets
Like, it's not lacking as a Puyo game or a Tetris game on its own. It gives you, like, Tetris challenges and stuff you can do that are just Tetris. It gives you Puyo challenges and missions you can do that are just Puyo. It's like, yeah.
It's a good game. It's a good pick.
Yeah.
Very good.
Any other comments or questions before I move on to number 3?
I'm gonna go for it.
Alright, number 3 is actually going to be Heihachi in Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah.
Hey.
It was. I did not like him. I feel sorry. Back then I never did like Heihachi. He was like that one guy. I was like, I did not like him with a passion. But after his death in Tekken 7, I'm like, dang, he's dead, and I feel sad about it. Like, this guy didn't need to die. This guy didn't deserve all this stuff he was going through. Well, some of the stuff he did kind of deserve. But it's like, this guy didn't need to die. Why he got
Heihachi is not exactly a saint, and that's stating it nicely.
Yeah.
No, he ain't no
Or
patron
kind of
saint.
stuff.
But I mean, you kind of married a demon. That's on you, my guy.
That's on you.
And here's the thing. Heihachi said that he couldn't take a chance with his son. He said he thought his son might be a demon, but he doesn't realize that Kazuya was driven insane. He's not a naturally insane maniac.
No,
is everybody
he isn't.
okay with a spoiler for Tekken 7? Everybody okay
go
with
for
that?
I mean,
Okay.
it's been spoiled too, so.
Probably mentioned it before either way.
Yeah, if you notice, Kazuya, nobody ever talks about this, but something that's very noticeable is that Kazuya doesn't kill Heihachi in his devil form. He kills him out of motivation. Notice he sees Heihachi as the young version, and you can see him flashbacking to all the nasty things that was done to him, and that is the thing that motivates him to kill Heihachi. Not the fact he's a devil. He couldn't even defeat him in his full devil form. It was the fact he was tortured. It's that motivation and revenge. So that's, I think, showed Kazuya was driven insane. He's not a naturally insane maniac. And
Also, his mom got killed, so
That's true.
That's also
And
going to drive.
That definitely
anybody.
adds some layers to that
Yeah.
revenge you're seeking.
Yeah, and here's the big thing. What if Kazuya also was ruthlessly thrown off of a cliff? So
Yep.
Heihachi says, yeah, I thought he was a demon. What if he did die? Oh, well, he was not a demon. Better safe than sorry, though. That's
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He even shot his own grandson.
Oh, yeah. And he also trapped his own father, Jinpachi, inside underground. I mean, Heihachi is a very evil person. I mean, he's definitely, almost pure evil. I mean, sure, he got betrayed by his wife that made him go nuts, but that doesn't give you the right to do everything you do.
Yeah,
Everything
exactly.
you did, you know what I mean? So,
And because that everybody's, your son and grandson started a war that killed many people in the process. So you're kind of my friend, kind of just screwed the whole Tekken world, just screwed everybody up. No, my friend was the problem. That was the thing. He was the problem. He put his dick on a demon, and he was like, oh shoot, I fucked the demon. I'm sorry. We can stay friends. Oh wait, you want to kill me now? I'm sorry, player. I gotta live.
Be surprised.
I do have to say, regarding the specific crossover mentioned, I always love when games that have a majority of people fighting with weapons add a martial artist.
You just have the dude throwing hands. That's always a good
I think that's
crossover.
always really cool. So
Yeah.
I love Heihachi specifically out of like the characters that were in Soul Calibur 2 for like the crossovers, because he's just a dude who's punching. Like, sure, he's got some crazy punches going on that are very clearly not like what a real life person does.
Still bringing hands.
But
to
it's
a
still
knife.
cool that in a place where people are carrying swords as big as they are, Heihachi's here to punch you in the face.
Exactly.
that's
Let the wind out.
that's a detail, and I completely agree with you, Tim. That is a detail I thought was really well done in Soul Calibur 2. And the thing is, they were actually able to execute that well. I like the fact he had his own guard button. And what was really great is that a lot of his moves were very authentic to Tekken. You know, a lot of the moves, if you knew how to do them in Tekken, you could do a lot of them in Soul Calibur. And that's, I thought, was a really great thing. And I just thought it was a really well done crossover. Now here's the thing. This might be, I don't know if this would qualify as a crossover, because I say they're made, Soul Calibur and Tekken, they're made by the same company, but I do believe they are technically in different universes.
They're very different universe. This is
Okay,
still
good.
absolutely a crossover character.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the thing. You know, I just decided to give that the benefit of the doubt, you know, saying they are in different universes, but I'm glad I got that confirmed. Anyways, yeah, I just you know, Tim, you said a lot of what I was gonna say, and you know, I completely agree with you. You're absolutely right. It was really cool just having an unarmed person, you know, just fighting everybody with swords, and they were actually able to make that work. It's very enjoyable, you know, having that kind of gameplay in a game. It's a really great change of pace, and it still feels like you're playing a Soul Calibur game. It's like, you know, it feels like both Tekken and Soul Calibur at the same time, and that's, in my opinion, is a crossover executed almost perfectly.
Who needs weapons when you got two of these? Dang.
Yeah, and gauntlets too. That's what they call them, right? Gauntlets. That was, I think,
Yeah.
is quote unquote weapon.
Who needs weapons when you got this? When you got fists? You know, I don't know what I was gonna say, but when you got lefty and righty right here, these are my two best friends, and these are my two weapons.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hit you with these.
I will admit though that the one negative thing about that, about almost a perfect thing done in the game, was his English voice actor was pretty cringy. Did you ever hear his English voice in Soul Calibur 2?
I
Yeah.
don't want to hear it. I
Soul
don't.
Calibur 2 voice acting in general was kind of dated.
Yeah, the Japanese voice acting was pretty good. I mean, Heihachi, they just used the OG voice actor for the Japanese voices. That was actually really good. And because
don't.
You need to look up the
107? Hold up.
Ah, crap.
Yeah. As I said, because of how well they executed that, and not to mention the fact that his Japanese voice actor was still really good, because of all the great things that were done, you know, with Heihachi being, you know, in Soul Calibur 2, I give them the benefit of the doubt, and I still keep them as number 3 on the list.
What made you think you could defeat me?
As I said, that was like the one negative thing. But you're right, you know, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, a lot of the Japanese games didn't really have that good of voice acting, you know, when they did the English dub. House of the Dead! Who said that?
I believe it. It has that
The
old
second one, yeah.
has
Yeah.
that old dub vibe where you can tell the tone and
Yeah.
direction weren't entirely clear, but the voice fits him. Old, gruff, angry dude. I believe it.
Well, Resident Evil 1. Who said that? Resident Evil 1, the original.
Oh
What,
yeah.
You don't want to be a Jill sandwich?
That was the first line I thought.
I actually didn't even get scared when I saw that game. I was actually laughing. I'm like, this
It's
is so
really campy and silly.
I actually
Yeah.
rewatched it, and now I'm like, because like back then I wasn't too bad into horror, but now rewatching it, now I'm like, I can't go to sleep without all this
Hello?
horror.
Oh, you
I
moved
can't-
me for a moment.
Oh, sorry.
I can't do horror. I can't do horror like I used to, and that's because like a specific movie got me when I was in middle school, and I couldn't sleep for weeks. Yeah, I can't watch Resident Evil without. I have
Yeah,
to watch something
even-
else. But you were saying?
I think the only game in that era that actually had good English dub was obviously Metal Gear Solid. That was like the only game. That was like the Diamond Among Coal that had really good English voice acting.
Yeah.
Even Silent Hill had some cheesy voice acting. I would say though, quick shout out before I move on over a little bit off subject, but the one the character who actually, you know, had a good voiceover was the Magician from House of the Dead. In House of the Dead 2, the Magician actually was the one character who had good voice acting, even though it only had 2 lines. So, does anybody have any question or comment? I know we got really sidetracked here, but Does
good.
anybody have any questions or comments about Heihachi before I move on? All right, number 2 is going to be Kratos from God of War into Mortal Kombat 9.
Yep, very
Yep.
fitting.
Yeah. So, you know, I did play through God of War 3, and after playing through that, I was like, you know, I played through God of War 3 after I played Mortal Kombat 9, and I was like, man, Kratos definitely fit into a game, especially a super violent game like Mortal Kombat. I mean, he was really, really great. I liked how they kept a lot of moves from God of War while you were playing as him, so it would actually really feel like you're playing a God of War game. You know what I mean? They had those same quick time events they had in God of War with Kratos. Like sometimes
it was a creative
you
touch.
have to press the X. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. It was very, very creative, and I also liked his fatalities. He had some of the best fatalities. I especially like the one where he pulled the Medusa out. I'm sure everybody here knows the Medusas, right? The Medusa creature. Yeah, it's the. So I like the
Turns you
fact
to
he actually
stone.
pulls out the head with the snakes and turns it into stone, and then smashes you into pieces. That was really brilliantly done. What were you saying, Tim?
I'm not just agreeing with the Medusa point.
So and one thing that I really thought was great. Another thing was his stage. Of course, they, you know, in Mortal Kombat 9 they created a stage for Kratos, and I like the fact that was the exact same God of War music. You know, remember when you fought Zeus at the end of God of War 3? I like the fact it was in that exact same stage where you would actually go hand-to-hand combat with Zeus. Remember that? It was at that exact place. You remember that? Does anyone play through the end of God of War 3?
That was.
I just thought that was.
Go ahead.
That was so well brilliantly done. It was at that exact same stage where you actually fought Zeus, and it was almost like a fighting game in God of War 3. It was almost like they were planning to add him in. That was a hint they were planning to add Kratos into a fighting game. It's like they were experimenting with that. And I like how they used that exact stage to put into Mortal Kombat 9. And I especially really like the stage fatality where you would have like several options. You would press a certain button. Like you would actually have, they had like 3 options on what kind of stage fatality you could do. If let's say you executed it right, the fatality right, you would hold them over a trap, and you would actually have the option on which trap to drop them. And I just thought that was so well brilliantly done. I'm like, man, this is like Mortal Kombat, like, you know, fatalities, but with the God of War, you know, options, you know, to finish the opponent off. And that was and I said this is why I'm putting, you know, Kratos at number 2, you know, Mortal Kombat 9, because I think he's definitely one of the best guest characters of all time in the game. It's a shame, you know, that he can only be in the PS3 version, as understandable as it is. It's a shame, but
It's console-specific problem.
yeah, he was only on the PS3 version, no Xbox, because, you know, Sony has the rights to God of War, you know, so it's understandable. But one point is that sorry, I forgot I was saying I just thought that was really well done, and one of the best guest characters of all time, and the best guest character in Mortal Kombat. You know, he's the Mortal Kombat guest character I give the crown to. So, any other questions or comments?
Fuck, it's not too late.
Is there any other questions or comments before I move on to my last pick? Well, number 1 actually, not last.
Well, good. What's your number 1?
Number 1 is actually the guest characters, the Season 1 guest characters of Tekken 7, all of them. Type in Season 1, please, though. Only Season 1, and I'll type later.
Only Season 1 specifically?
Yes. And
It
I
was a
don't
very
think,
good
don't get me
season.
wrong, I don't think Negan, who was from Season 2, was horrible in Tekken 7, but I just felt like he didn't fit in. I don't think he was worth adding into this number 1 list, and I'll explain why later. I do like that character from The Walking Dead. He's a really good character, and I thought he had some good moments in Tekken 7, but I'll explain everything of why I picked all the characters in Tekken 7. So, first of all, Akuma, this is like the first time we added in a guest character into a legitimate story. You know what I mean? Like, they actually made Akuma canon to Tekken. You know what I mean?
Freaking
And
wild.
Akuma. And you know what was great is that Akuma, you know, a lot of the Tekken 7 story, I hate to say it, but by the time the Tekken 7 story really picked up, really actually started to become good, it was pretty much too late. It was practically over. You know what I mean? You see, Tekken 7, I think most of it, like the first half of the game, was basically just leaving, basically picking up where Tekken 6 left off. It was basically just like how should I say it? It was kind of like the remnants of Tekken 6. We were like, okay, we get it. Why are we focusing on this? Let's focus on the battle between Heihachi and Kazuya. That's what we're here for. We're here to see like the final battle of the, start of the Mishima Saga. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Sure.
But when Akuma was in there, I thought that really fit in well. I really like how he connected to both Heihachi and Kazuya's story. He really made the story great when he actually finally made it in there. And I thought he had a really great fight with Heihachi and Kazuya, and that's just the story. I mean, I thought his gameplay was really great. His gameplay was exactly like Street Fighter. I mean, it was I played Street Fighter 4. It was exactly like Street Fighter 4 Akuma, and they were able to make him 3D. So, there were some Street Fighter players who've told me, I'm not going to mention the names, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but some Street Fighter players have told me that when they tried Akuma, they say they got into Tekken 7 very easily, So both the gameplay and the story were brilliantly done. And not to mention that super epic boss battle that was so difficult but super epic when you found out Akuma survived that little blast on the building. Remember after Kazuya defeated Heihachi? You remember that little boss battle that happened? That was so great. That was a great boss battle when you played as Kazuya. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, right? That secret boss battle they had. And that was so well done. It was really challenging, but also really enjoyable. It felt like a real ultimate Akuma boss battle, and you got to play as as a Tekken character. I got to play as one, my favorite Tekken character story-wise, Kazuya. That was also a really, really good experience having to complete that boss battle. It was really challenging. Sure, I'm sure Sony has lost some people have lost PS4 controllers. I'm sure Sony has made money off of that because people probably smashed their controllers doing that, right? But what I really liked was the challenge. I like how it was challenging but very doable and also very fun. So sorry if I got a little carried away. Now here's another guest character I thought was really well done. Geese Howard.
Yep.
That reveal is so good.
So Geese Howard was really well done because I like the fact that he this actually will bring me to my next point. So I'll just say Geese and Noctis. So Geese was really great at attracting the OG fighting gamers. You know what I mean? The OG competitive fighting gamers, and it was able to get those people who really enjoy the old fighting game mechanics and then pick up Geese. You see, Geese is extremely hard. I mean, I think he's one of the hardest Tekken characters to play as, or competitively, if not the hardest, because he is basically a 1990s character when fighting games were a lot more difficult. And it's really easy for someone who quit fighting games in the early 2000s to go into Tekken 7 and pick up Geese and be like, wow, I like this game, You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Then we have Noctis, who's really beginner-friendly. He is a very beginner-friendly character, especially from a popular game like Final Fantasy 15. It's very easy for the casual gamers to get in and be like, oh wow, I like this game. I get to play as, one of my favorite game characters, Noctis, and I get to, play him in Tekken 7. So that's what I really liked. I really liked how those two characters balanced each other out, that there was one for the OG fighting gamers, and then there was also one for the people new to fighting games, beginner friendly. So it really did a great job at balancing Tekken 7 out, that crossover, and not to mention the fact that Akuma was really great for the Street Fighter players, and he was also really fit into the story well. Sorry if I'm talking too much about this, I got a little carried away, but you understand what I'm saying though?
No, I get what you're saying. That's really cool.
Okay. So here's why I think Negan, in my opinion, is the black sheep of the guest characters. I just thought he just felt very out of place. I mean,
targeted the normies. It's okay, say it.
He's from a dark and he's kind of from a really dark and gritty, violence and bloody series. If I were in England, they fought me for profanity. I just said bloody, but anyways, it's a very bloody series, right? And it's really dark and nasty. And it has no resemblance to anime vibes like Tekken does sometimes. So it just felt so out of place when I saw Negan inside Tekken 7. I was like, we'll see. And, you know, sure, they do some references to The Walking Dead, but he's the kind of character who would better fit into Mortal Kombat because it feels like a character who's like forced into a game. I use the analogy, you know, syrup is good, asparagus is good, but they don't go well together. I think that's the analogy I could use. So, yeah, but you understand what I'm saying? I just felt like as good as he is, he just did not fit into Tekken 7. It was the wrong pick. He should have been in Mortal Kombat. Would have been a much better fit there. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, can't believe I was talking for 10 minutes, maybe even more. Got carried away.
Hey, it was your number one pick.
Logic is
So,
understandable.
yeah.
May I ask to go next just because I have company here?
Oh, of course, yeah, that's
And I
no
don't want to keep leaving in and out. And then
So, that's my list. So, thank you for all listening.
No worries. And yeah, Digimon, go ahead. It makes sense.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that.
Well,
It's
no,
alright,
like,
that's the way it be. Go ahead.
it would make sense for you to finish it, so you don't have to keep
like that.
poking in and out. So
Okay.
go ahead. What's your 4?
What's 4? Fuck, I have like 9 tabs open. Let me ignore some of this. Okay. I remember one. This is why I asked earlier before like the stream. I was asking, does it count if it's in its own company universe? Because Base.exe appearing in the Battle Network series as a hidden boss fight, to me, like, made me like poop myself as a kid. I thought that was so cool because he's not connected to anywhere. He's supposed to be your mystery character. And I just love Base as a kid. As playing Mega Man 7, seeing like
crossover, isn't it? But there was two
he
different
becomes
Mega Man
more
series.
space.
Mega Man
It is a
Battle
Mega
Network? Yes, he is a crossover character. Actually, Zero.exe is also a crossover character as well.
I like this one more. I'm not gonna lie. Zero's dead in every timeline to me because that's all they do with him.
No, he's,
You need-
he's
You
alive.
need a character to die for plot. I
Ways
got
that
you.
aren't explained.
He's a literal rock man now.
That's what he's fighting for.
All right, but yeah, Base was just amazing, especially his boss fight. God, the music's amazing. And then they kind of gave him the eerie. It's such a cheap design. He's literally the same robot, kind of, but with a scarf. Like, people want to rip on Sonic for bringing a brown handkerchief scarf, but Base do it and it's cool, and I agree.
Yeah, poncho. Yeah,
I like the boom design, but yeah.
No, this is just rip on people who just always hate on stuff.
Yeah.
I do like the boom design. I like the show too, but it's a topic for another day.
Possibly for
That's something
tomorrow,
for
actually.
tomorrow.
'Cause tomorrow is a Sonic stream. But
I might.
continue.
But Base was just an amazing, and honestly, I played so many hacks to try to control that character. It's so fun. Well, and then I had to go to a next game. Out of the love for the Namco X Bandai, Project X Zone was what introduced me into the whole system entirely. Project X Zone being in my hands, I loved playing that game in class. I would literally hide in my shirt and say, "Fuck history. This is my history. This is my home." And I would have my 3DS taken at least once a week. Totally worth it. But I will say 2 is still the better game to play in terms of mechanics wise. Still gonna be a repetitive run, but it's fan service galore. It's everything you wish a fighting game should be and more in terms of just interactions. And that's kind of what I think crossovers aren't doing at their peak yet, is abusing the crossover. Having these characters live is amazing. Watching Ryu and Ken walk up to X and Zero being like, "How the fuck are y'all in the internet? You're in my phone?" Processing the internet is hilarious, but stuff like that, especially with the Hack Quantum series, meeting characters from the Tales of, having Pi meet Chun-Li and both of them being like, "Huh."
Or
Obvious
in
joke.
Soul Calibur Legends, you get to have Lloyd from Tales of Symphonia and Ivy talk to each other. That was also a crossover in Soul
Yeah.
Calibur Legends.
How many numbers do I have? 3. Okay, cool. That fits. Sorry, continue.
No, that was all I was gonna say. So
Yeah, you have 3 more, right?
Yeah, I just had to
Yeah.
make sure I had the right amount of
Making
tabs.
sure the count's right. Just go ahead.
My next character would actually have to be, and I was so glad Majin Obama mentioned it in this video. Lars in Naruto was
Yo.
he's
Yeah.
actually like, and I remember like Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 was my like first Xbox 360 like game, and I was so hyped getting everyone in the roster and just seeing that one corner in the spot with the question mark, being like, who the fuck is this? Going on Cheat Code Central, looking it up, saying it's Lars Alexanderson. Who the fuck?
Like, who is
Never-
this? Bro, he's
Like in my head, I was just like, bro, I'm a fan of Naruto. This is no one from the Akatsuki, no Hokage, no Sandville. Who the fuck are you? And then when you use his chakra ability, he pulls out a minigun, and it's just like, what?
Yeah, that's I just want to say, you know, Lars was I thought Lars was an interesting addition, but it's just a shame he had to grind for him though.
No,
Yeah,
but that's what I love is that there are when it's instead of it feeling like it's forced, it feels like it's a fun thing for the development team to do. Like it feels like it's the dev team sending a haha joke to us. Like this is us having fun with the game and we want to give it to you guys. But that's what I don't feel like Crossover's doing. They're not doing it for haha funny game fun to make, except Fortnite, because wow, that's not on this list. I refuse to hear that, by the way. I'm glad I'm leaving. Well,
I
it better
thought
not be
about
up-
putting it on my list just out of like posterity.
But Lars was just like the randomest addition in the childhood memory that actually got me into Tekken. Actually, finding out Tekken 6 was like here, I almost bought Tekken 6, but literally a month later, before I did, a trailer for Tekken Tag 2 got released, and I said, I'm glad I didn't spend that money, because I would have been upset. And then I'd have to say for number 2, Spawn from Soul Calibur 2. And I don't care about Heihachi, don't give a fuck. Don't care about Link, he was garbage. Spawn felt like he should have stayed. I grew up with the GameCube era. I grew up with the GameCube one specifically, but I had 2 of the 3, and Spawn felt like he should have stayed. And the fact that was a reference in MK11, I like shed a tear in my soul.
I remember that. I remember. I thought that was really
Could've
brilliantly
been
done.
MK.
My
soul
left.
still burns.
Spawn
The
is
fact
so
that NetherRealm referenced a Namco studio game so subtly too. It wasn't even like forced and cheesy. And I was just like, oh my god. And he felt so fun. He was fluid. His weapons were sick. Soul Calibur 2 is such. I can't fathom and the appreciation. But Soul Calibur 2 also set the milestone for guest characters per consoles or for their consoles. No one else did that before then. And I thought that was a great rendition to show like, hey, we can even take going further on these console ports instead of like, you know, arcade ports for most fighting games. We can actually say like, now we can borrow like Kratos and MK9. That was smart. You know who else should have been there? I don't know. You tell me. I'm not really smart with PlayStation. But
I just wanted to say that first of all, sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good.
I got carried away. Anyways, I just want to say that I agree that Spawn was a really great addition to Mortal Kombat 11. But you see, what I like to do you know a YouTube channel called Watch Mojo?
I do, and I refuse.
Yeah. Well, I used to like it, but I hate it nowadays. I used to like it though, back in 2013, but I hate it nowadays. It's really awful nowadays. But anyways, the point is that I like to do a watch. I like to follow that system where it's one game per franchise. So there are a lot of great guest characters in Mortal Kombat Reboot Trilogy, but Kratos, as I said, you know, if there's anyone I had to give the crown to, it'd be Kratos. But I really think Spawn is a great character in Mortal Kombat 11. I really do.
What I love about it is that Spawn fits in Soul Calibur Weapon Edge Master from Hell, and it's a bunch of people fighting over a Hell and Heaven sword. That makes complete
Spawn
sense.
fits perfectly.
And I'll send you to that, bro. Oh my god, that game is so the voice lines. Anyway,
Spawn is just sick. Like as a character, Spawn is one of the coolest.
He's
like bar none.
You can't. He should have been in Smash. God damn it! Fuck Sora.
Spawn is like
Now hold
a
on there.
go-to. It's like Spawn is like the epitome of that kind of like edgy aesthetic that's like rule of cool that works so well, and that's why he fits as a crossover character for these games so well.
Him and Dante, I think, are the perfect iconic demonic
absolutely.
characters.
In like the
because
opposite sides of it, Spawn is way
literally-
more of the edginess, and Dante is more of the coolness. Like they absolutely
Dante
are like
is
the
Sonic in
epitomes.
human form.
Basically, the thing is, Spawn is so perfect. It's not even overly dramatic too. Like even the
Exactly.
character's backstory is like, fuck.
Like it's not so overly edgy that it hits a point of being silly, but it's edgy enough to be like enjoyable. Cause like it's enough where you go, okay, yeah, that's kind of crazy, but not enough where you like are completely taken out of it.
Yeah, not like Berserk where you're traumatized.
And I just want to say that I also. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said godlike series though. Should continue, but continue.
I just wanted to say that in Soul Calibur 2, I actually agree that Spawn is also a really great guest character. I think all the guest characters in Soul Calibur 2 were good. In my opinion, they were good, all great in their own way. But here's the reason why I give the crown to Heihachi. You see, as good as Spawn was, you see, during the time Soul Calibur 2 was released, I mean, I've always been I haven't played Tekken competitively until Tekken 7 was launched, but I was always playing it for fun, and I was. Back then, in the early 2000s, I was playing Tekken 3, Tekken Tag 1, and Tekken 4 all the time. I especially enjoyed Tekken 4. But as a huge fan of those games, it was just a really great treat to see Heihachi in another fighting game franchise I started to enjoy. And, in Soul Calibur 2, it was just a really great treat to have, a Tekken character, a character from a game I was really playing all the time and enjoying all the time, to have him in, Soul Calibur. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I agree. Honestly, and I even say honest to God, I still put Link dear close to my heart because there was nothing. I was still a Zelda fan before I even Spawn, but Spawn was just so damn cool. That's how strong of an impact he made. I didn't know who the fuck you were, but I was like, I need to know.
And for Link, because like Link for me, because I was like, Link will definitely work in Soul Calibur 2, in the Soul Calibur game. And I was like, when I saw him in Soul Calibur 2, I was like, yo, my boy's here. And he's got bombs and stuff. He can throw stuff.
Dude, literally Link was the reason why my mom played Soul Calibur, and it was nothing more fun than playing Astaroth and flinging my mom around. And I could say I'm beating my mom's ass, and then get my ass beaten because arrows would always bring me out because I didn't know how to block as a kid.
Oh wait, Link had arrows in Soul Calibur? He had projectiles?
He had boomerang, bomb, arrows. He had his whole tool set.
Yeah,
his hook shot was part of his grab. Wasn't his actual.
No wonder he's bad for Mario tournaments. I'm joking. Well, half joking. Might be. I'm not sure.
No, what? Well, he ain't accessible anymore.
I think he's literally the only character back in the early 2000s. I mean, that era to actually have projectiles in
3D fighters
3D game. Yeah, but then again, Ogre and Kazuya did. Yeah, Ogre and Kazuya had it too.
Well, hey, what's up, Space?
What are you saying?
Hey.
I'm saying unlike Tekken beams.
Howdy, Space.
Yeah.
So, everybody seen the Street Fighter V gameplay?
6.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Well, it's not
behind
really
on
bad,
some of the videos because I feel like I've seen people sharing stuff, but I might have missed some things. I gotta check.
Just go watch it. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I think.
well, I'll watch everything.
Full
after.
roster got leaked.
But and for my final one.
Or yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
Okay, I'm gonna have to spoil myself as well. That's also my number one. That's also my number one. So, me and him got similar tastes.
I literally still play this game to this day.
That was the game we were hyping up about when we had our break.
Oh yeah, everyone in here already knew the number one.
This game's freaking goated.
I had a friend introduce it to me.
Alright, Space.
Thanks for the heads up.
Sorry. I had a friend introduce me to the game. I had no idea it fucking existed. And it was around the time we had Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Before Ultimate came out, it was still Fate of Two Worlds. And he was like, dude, I found Marvel vs. Capcom for the Wii. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like a bootleg? Because I knew his Wii was hacked, homebrew. So I was like, what did you find? And then he showed me a disc. And I was like, yo, why does that eagle dude look familiar? and I fell in love.
This is same
I
for me.
we played that game for 10 hours straight. And at one point, I got so into the game, I unlocked all the characters, all color costumes within the span of 2 days of being at his house. And I copied his save data to my week through an SD card that wasn't even mine for when I eventually got the game. And I spent hours on hours in survival mode, just playing, learning new combos, just having fun, listening to the music because it's so damn. Oh my god, the space station and Daigo Temple, everything's so beautiful too. It's on the Wii. That's the only problem. If it was something, it was on
It was
anything
also
else.
on. I think it was on a different console besides the Wii.
What?
Outside of countries, it was arcades, Wii only. It hit PlayStation 3, I believe, but that was cross generation of heroes, so that was the quote unquote first one. America only got the second one, which is still amazing, but it's still basically the Super Turbo of. I don't want to get into this game's lifespan. Anyway, godlike crossover, and it's rock paper scissors system. Rock paper scissors system is so amazing. It's a hyper fighter you can always play, even if you're mashing. Even if you're getting fucked, Mega Crash is exactly what every hyper fighter needs. I don't know why not all of them have it. And then also the characters. The game lacked like quote unquote the life of a crossover where characters interact. But the artwork illustrations at the end of arcade modes were so gorgeous. Watching Ryu be stuck in snow, dragon punching a fucking giant tank is awesome. Watching Batsu, I can't even remember his arcade ending. It's so many. Zero falls in a ditch and he can't remember why he's back on Earth again.
He was He was looking at the silhouette of Wily.
His dad again, right?
Yep. Dr. Albert Wily was his creation.
Hey,
His
Dad, are
last
you my dad?
Yeah. And then the characters from X5 and X6 come to help him out. I do know there was one ending where Roll goes down to like the basement, and she sees some of the robots from the giant robots from the Tatsunoko side, and she uses them to go and help her clean the house and everything. There was another one where I forgot the names of these characters, but they were from the Tatsunoko side. They were trying to find this hidden treasure, or they were trying to find one of their things that they lost. And Ballnut, Mega Man Ballnut, or Rock, as he's called in Japan, he's just like, he finds the skull and then decides to take it back to Roll, to his version of Roll. And the other characters are all complaining about trying to find the weapon. I mean, they're trying to find their lost treasure and stuff. So,
also, the greatest this video game holds the greatest special move in existence. Joe the Condor has a counter where he shoots them in the dick if you hit him, and it slows down, freezes the screen, and it's black, and you watch the bullets slowly go to your balls.
Ouch.
That is on the Nintendo Wii.
Yeah, this is
I love
true.
this game.
Like I said, this is top one for me as well. So I'm gonna put my I can put my 2 cents in a bit. But
If I ever tell any, I will full-heartedly put this as one of my top 3 favorite fighting games of all time. This game beats Marvel for me. Of all, it's
super hype.
It's people always think, oh, it's an air dasher. So is Dragon Ball, but that don't seem to be a problem. Yeah, I said it.
Air dashes are technically a whole subgenre, but also gets mixed and mingled with what's considered quote unquote anime. That's in a whole other conversation.
Another reason why I have an appreciation for Tatsunoko vs. Capcom is because MVCI kind of went back on that format, and I appreciate that. Because even Capcom themselves realized 3v3 format can be a little bit of AIDS. Who knew? And the X Factor thing, maybe that we probably should have cut that one out.
Maybe
but
we shouldn't.
That one was a mistake. But people seem to like it sometimes. But it's good to go back to keep it simple. 2v2 was fine and fantastic. It's still hyper and blazing. Give your assist, give yourself the meter system, and let your players create their dream. And another thing that I've always kind of loved about it too is that it felt so amazing watching Street Fighter Magic characters be with fucking superheroes and robot people.
Yeah.
I could say fucking this high school boy is fighting with a giant refrigerator.
It's sick.
And he's gonna kick his ass. Also, Alex headbutts refrigerator in the dick. Or hits them. Just go look up Alex's supers and you know what I'm talking about. That's all I can say. You might get demonetized.
Frank. Oh, also, you got to hear the final boss. The final boss was Yami. The boss from Okami. The final boss from Okami. And the last part where you hear sun rises after you beat after you beat him twice. Like you have to beat him in 3 rounds. So after you beat him twice, you hear sun rises, and that was also one of my favorite songs from Okami.
Oh my!
It wasn't as it's my favorite now, but back then I kind of liked it, and it was like, you know, you're almost at the end. You can't give up. You got this. So I always thought that was cool in and of itself. Also, Zero, just the character. When I fought the players who use Zero really well, mostly players from Japan, I was like, this guy is OP.
Yeah.
The way they were playing him, he was like, God. I was like, good lord, I was getting beat. I was like, this character is cool. So I spent, I think, a lot of time trying to find a way to unlock him. And eventually I managed to unlock him. I didn't have any guides or anything. I just did it out of my own instinct. So.
Game's fun. Just come play it. Anyway,
yeah.
That's mine. I'm gonna still have the stream open because I'm gonna watch and still commentate on the rest of this stuff.
Alright, well thank you for summing yours up still. I guess while we're at it, we might as well let MM. Well, actually, MM is technically next anyway, so I guess it's good that you both share a same top one.
Well, you guys already took out 4.
Well,
4
wait,
was
what
Super Smash Bros.
Which Smash?
All
Smash series as a
Dude,
whole?
Brawl. Just Brawl.
What
You can hit
number
Brawl
was
as well. Brawl was number 4.
Oh, so then I guess.
Sorry about that.
No, I mean he technically revealed it, so I guess what's your 2 and 3 then?
2 and 3. Shoot, that's tough. Let's see. I don't know which 2 I wanted. Ah, there it is. Mario Hoops 3-on-3 for number 3. Let's just be honest. I like the character, just the character art, and I'm playing basketball, but just seeing all the ninja, the black. I think the cactus guy was also in there, but just seeing the cactus. Also, Moogle was there, like as a referee, if I remember correctly. But seeing ninja, black, and white mage, I was like, yo, these characters are
Kind of cool.
These characters are cool. Like I said, low key, white mage, waifu material. Like that is what Rosalina is waifu material to some people. Nah, that's white mage. I think is a little is ahead of Rosalina when it comes to being the character being hot. She was smoking. She was also dunking on me.
That's part of what makes it hot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my that's top 3 right. That's top 3 right there. And number 2, have to be Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
In general, because
It's a great idea.
Even the Winter Olympic one, where you got to see them interact and walk around the whole area. That was also like around the Olympic Village. That was pretty cool. And I remember I was practicing a lot, trying to like run super fast in the 100 and trying to even keep speed in the dream racing events, because I was a big fan of racing, and because of that, I got physically fit. I was physically fit through middle school and high school because I was always constantly playing games like that. Man, if I played them now, I would be like, I'm out of breath and out of shape. But back then, I was kept in shape because of those games.
So, also just seeing Sonic and Mario go at it in a race, you're like, Sonic should be beating Mario easily, but it's like, never mind. I guess he
It was the
doesn't.
start
And then,
of the official partnership, but it was a nice, light thing that was just a cool, casual game to have rather than take it seriously.
also, let's see, Sonic finally going. When I saw Sonic in a swimming event, I was like, Sonic.
And he's got floaty.
He's got floaty, but it was cool because, like, you know, you would think Sonic is going to go on water. He's too much of a chicken. But then I was like, oh, Sonic actually going to go in. And actually,
Attention to detail.
well, to be fair, when you're in the I wouldn't blame Sonic Sphere of Water. If the labyrinth zone is pretty
Pretty
much.
sure Sonic has genuine water trauma at this point.
I mean, can't blame him for the labyrinth. It's because of the labyrinth zone. God dang it. Eggman may have taken every L, but he has succeeded in one thing against Sonic, was the freaking labyrinth zone.
I mean, then again, we haven't had that much water zones Sonic games in a while.
I mean, to be fair, I'm gonna be honest. The labyrinth zone also gave me PTSD about water stages.
Everyone PTSD in the stage, especially speedrunners.
And honestly, I beat it. I didn't have a hard time in the labyrinth zone. I just hated being underwater like that. It was just very tedious. I was like, But yeah, Mario and Sonic, just the ability to just see. I didn't have a problem with like the Wii controls and everything. It kept me more immersed. The immersion was even better when I was actually doing stuff or running and stuff. It was fun for this time, and I'll still do it again if I could. Like, if you give me a Wiimote and and you told me I have to train my body by playing this game, I would definitely do it. I'll be like, go ahead, I'm ready, coach. So, yeah. So that's all my top. That's all my favorite games. So
That's a pretty good list.
thank you.
Yeah, it's a good list.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, the lists so far are really good. Digimon's list is also pretty good too.
Yeah, glad what you're doing.
And
Tim, you still
don't worry,
I'm
Ron,
in.
don't worry. I'm not leaving you out. Your list is not complete yet, so
there?
can't
No,
say good
it's
yet.
fine.
You're right.
worries. Go ahead, Tim.
Alright. Number 4. It's been talked about a little bit, but it's Dengeki Bunka. Just a big fan of the way they bring all those characters together, all the little nods they do to story beats in their series, the way the assists pair in. It's just a really fun way to bring a lot of those characters together. And any game where I can kick a trash can at Kirino Kosaka's face is an A+ game in my book.
Some of the interactions
By
with these
default.
characters and what they can do is just so
It's
fun.
charming. It has so much of like the characters'
Yeah.
appeal in their movesets and what they can do and how they interact. If you like these characters, you're like, this is exactly what I wanted from them in a fighting game. That's been talked about a good bit, so I don't want to ramble too hard on it. But my Taiga goes dummy, so I'll fight all you.
I'm down to play. I might mulligan the order of my list, actually, thinking about it, but I'll wait till I'm done.
The rest of the things on my list haven't been talked about. This will be fun. Number 3, gonna keep shilling real hard for it, but my number 3 is going to Slap City.
Wow. Betty.
So, the thing about me and Slap City is, I was not the kid with a lot of money growing up. I didn't buy new games a whole lot. But I knew about Game Maker and I knew about indie games. And most of the characters from Slap City and Ludosity, like, I learned about them as a studio because a lot of them were indie devs that got together. So, like, I kid you not, when Asha was announced for Slap City, I was super hyped. And I sat there and had a realization of, no one knows who the heck this is. But I was like, I know who this is, and I'm excited. I played Iggy. I like that. It was like, oh, I played Princess Remedy. I know what that is. So, like, to me, like, this up here, this high in the list, is entirely a personal bias pick. It is entirely just, these are, like, developers and things that, like, I grew up, like, knowing some of their games and playing stuff and, like, researching because I had nothing else to do. And so to see them get, like, a really silly game that was really fun, and then it turned out to be a really good platform fighter, I was like, oh, sweet. And I love all these characters. I love all this stuff. They're a bunch of weirdos, but I love this game, and I will shill it forever. When it gets ported to consoles, I will play this everywhere. Also, the soundtrack's amazing.
Yeah, you've played a bunch of bangers in the streams.
So if you're one of those people who buys games for soundtracks, the game's dirt cheap and the soundtrack's god tier.
In fact, I don't know if I saved it to my favorites list and it got removed or something, but I keep forgetting the name of the freaking boss theme from Slap City.
Oh, which one? I can pull it up.
Please do. I don't know. What's one of the first ones that comes to mind that you usually share?
If it's a boss theme, it might be, shoot, I gotta remember the name for it. Give me a sec, I'll look it up real quick.
Sorry to put it on a tangent, but it's a song I keep losing, and I need to make sure I have it.
I'm gonna slap myself when I see the name. Is it Face to Face? Because that was the boss theme from Iggy that they put in the game. There's two mixes, because there's the original and the remix. And then there's also Tor. There's those two.
Okay, this isn't one of them, but this is what was the other one?
Tor. T-O-R.
I just want to say, music in a game, it's amazing how music can make like a huge difference in a game on whether it's good or bad.
Oh, absolutely. That's actually one of the few complaints I have with Multiverses, is it's going for like a orchestrated background thing, so there's like no good stage music or background stuff, so it's like kind of bland. And I was like, oh, I kind of wish it had like music. And part of what makes some games like Tekken or Smash or other games really good is how really good the soundtracks are.
I agree. Mortal Kombat is one of those games. In my opinion, the most of the games don't really have that good of a soundtrack.
Right.
I would say Deadly Alliance, Mortal Kombat 11 are the only two games that have that actually have a decent soundtrack. But it makes up for it with all the other great things. But yeah, even a game like Mortal Kombat, I think it'd be a lot more engaging if they had like really good music. That's that's why the licensing issues can really suck sometimes.
Yeah. It's a big part of it. Yeah, Slap City's dope. I will never stop shilling this game. It is incredibly fun, like, just to play as. Its status as a meme game is not warranted. It's way more deep and fun than just like a brief haha funny. And it's genuinely very charming and enjoyable. I cannot recommend it enough.
Keep shilling it, man.
My number 2 pick is my number 1 should be obvious just for me, so my number 2 is like my actual number 1 in my mind for not having to do the obvious, and it's Poker Night at the Inventory.
Ooh.
So, Telltale Games, before they get really big with the sale of Walking Dead, makes a couple point-and-click games for a couple series, and they still have the rights to the IPs, and go, what if we made a poker game with characters from them? And the first one has the coolest cast to play poker with between Max, Strongbad, The Heavy, and Tycho. And then Poker Night 2 has friggin' Claptrap, and Ash, and Brock, and Sam. And it's like, you can play poker with these crazy peoples. And the entire game is incredibly charming and full of just character moments between these characters, because they'll just tell stories or talk to each other, ask each other questions while playing. And just lets you playing poker with a bunch of characters from series that are cool. It is a delight to play. I love this game.
Now I kind of want to play this.
And
I wanna
this
play
is where the
too.
sad news comes in. I don't know if you can get either of them still after what happened to Telltale.
Oh yeah.
What about
Yeah,
the
that
Telltale?
sucks.
Telltale died. As a
Really?
studio, Telltale managed their money terribly. Like, when they went out of business, it was revealed their budget was awful. They paid so much money to get certain IPs and voice actors that if the games didn't make 1 billion sales, it would be a huge loss.
Telltale
And
did
that happened
pretty
like
damn
5 or 6 games in a row.
Yeah. They thought they would probably get a lot of people with the Batman series.
Yep.
It's a shame because I think both Batman Telltale games are pretty good. Have a pretty
They
good
are.
story.
Like, Telltale games, like, Walking Dead got them really big and famous, and they thought they could recreate that success all the time, but that was like a flash in the pan success that was way bigger than they thought. They then budgeted a ton of games after accordingly, and like none of them got that success. Some of them are really good. The Batman ones are really good. I heard that the I think it was the Jurassic Park one was pretty good, and then Tales from the Borderlands is really good. Like, a bunch of them have been really solid games, but they just didn't make the money. So, poking at the inventory, I don't know if you can still buy it.
Yeah, I tried searching for it on Steam. I found something else that I might.
I have Poker Night 1, I'd never bought 2. So I'm a little sad about that. But ultimately, I'm okay with it, because I have Strong Bad and the Heavy and Max and Tycho. And those are characters that I would be delighted to play poker with, and continue to be delighted to play poker with. Any video game that acknowledges Homestar Runner on top of TF2, on top of Sam and Max, is already perfect in my book.
I actually am a big fan of the OG card games. You know, I call the classic, or I should call the classic card games, like, you know, Spades. What are the other ones?
Like
Spades.
your Hearts, your Solitaire, your usual.
Yeah, and I like poker too. You know, I'm not much of I don't really like gambling, but I like the idea of poker. I like how I like playing poker with fake chips. You know,
Exactly, playing with like chips in a house instead of like going out to gamble. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
See, I only know about poker now because of gambling and Anna teaching me how poker works.
My brother is as close as you can get to a pro poker player without going pro. And then my mom does it as a hobby too. So poker is very popular in my family. And this is how I do it. It's in a video game with characters I like.
I play blackjack more. But yeah, I learned a bits of poker and a bits of dominoes from my parents. So.
If you
you can't play the games anymore, but people have made compilations of like dialogue between the characters. And genuinely, it will be some of the most fun you've had, even if you don't know the characters, because the way they just interact is a delight.
Yeah, with the characters that they have, this sounds perfect for YouTube compilation content.
Hey Tim, if you don't mind me asking, what's your favorite type of poker?
Probably Texas Hold'em.
Same here.
I think it's just the simplest in terms of like what you have to factor in terms of like how you have to handle like the odds for the deck and the odds for certain things, compared to things like Omaha where there's so many more cards in people's hands, so now I have to factor much more in. It's a little simpler.
Yeah, I completely agree. You know, I also like I like how Texas Hold'em is like very simple yet very creative at the same time. I like the fact that, you know, there are the first 3 cards, and then there's the turn, and then they call the river card. I really like how that's done. And then you can fold, and then you're like, the river card's here. No, I shouldn't have folded. You know what I mean?
You're like, oh no, I should have believed in my hand.
Yeah, fun.
Poker Night at the Inventory is an absolute delight, and it's a shame, but Telltale is half dead because I think they ended up having a brief thing of like, hey, we were bought by someone, and they're working on Wolf Among Us 2. But so I think they're kind of still around. So fingers crossed that hopefully Poker Night comes back on Steam at some point. If not, look up a YouTube compilation. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm hoping that happens too. Like, so what I heard was that Telltale did kind of like, it's like they rose from the ashes. It's like they kind of remade themselves, and they say that they're working on several games. I mean, Wolf Among Us 2 is the one to gain most attention, but there are rumors They're just rumors, so I'm taking it with a grain of salt. There are rumors that they're even working on a season 3 of the Batman Telltale series.
I mean, hey, that one of their newer ones, that one did pretty well, so that would be a good one to keep trying to invest in.
Yeah.
SNK revived themselves. Maybe it can happen for them.
Exactly. Fingers crossed.
And then there are companies like Nintendo that should be gone. Who said that? I'm just kidding, I'm joking.
The Nintendo snipers are on their way.
The Nintendo ninjas are coming.
Holy.
You were sitting here watching for things to say on stream, boy.
Also, speaking of Nintendo,
I'm joking, Nintendo. The Nintendo, I'm just joking. You're a great company. I mean, I know I'm more of a PlayStation guy, but I respect you. You make really great games, and I like the fact you even build a theme park. You build Super Nintendo World. I think that's brilliant. So I'm glad there's one coming to Universal Studio Los Angeles next year. So I'm looking forward to that. So just want to say, Nintendo, I'm just joking. You're a great company.
And on that note, my number one is completely obvious. It's Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, alright. I was gonna say, because we'll just get this out of the way.
I mean, it's frickin' Smash Ultimate. It has, like, in the Sora presentation, they did, like, a thing of their accolades, and it was, like, almost 500 franchises represented.
Yeah,
like,
they have every right to flex their numbers. Good lord.
Like, and I say this as, like, it gets a little buried under the character representation, so the thing I want to highlight with Smash Ultimate is I'm just happy for so many things that are there. I freaked out when Shovel Knight was an assist trophy. I was so happy Shantae was a spirit. I was so happy that Gino came back as a Mii costume. Like, friggin' all these things are there, and I'm like, this is the greatest game. Everything that I know is in this game. This is the only game where I could have friggin' Minecraft Steve fight Sora on a Metal Gear Solid stage while a Pokemon comes out, and I grab an assist trophy and Shovel Knight shows up. This is the greatest game ever made.
And you don't have to scour Newgrounds or have a severely unstable Mugen build.
Yep. None of this is nonsense.
This is
It's all
freaking
super
great.
well made with Nintendo level of polish and attention to detail.
Dude.
Game is friggin' amazing.
Yeah, sorry, I might as well, like, chime in too if that's okay, because
It's
the things that David brought up with Brawl, it's understandable, and I still hold Brawl in some regard to have done things that for some reason haven't been done in other Smash games. Like Subspace Emissary will always be some of the best like single player content Smash Bros. Ever had. Actually, that any fighting game's ever had ever. But Smash Ultimate just showed me like how much of a freaking god Sakurai is, and how this game is official Mugen. Like, I don't know if people understand like what Sakurai made possible with this game.
It's what people have been saying, like, this is video games the game.
It is.
Like, if you have played a video game, there will be something in Smash that you will go, hey, I know what this is.
Yeah, there's
it might be a character, it might be an assist trophy, it might be an item, but there's gonna be something here that you'll go, I know this.
You could show this game to anyone of any age. They will recognize something. It's
just that level
insane.
of like cultural zeitgeist is insane. And if to kind of add on to like what I'd said about Brawl, like Brawl was the first to really break those rules and like set something up. Ultimate just progressively knocks each of the fan-made rules out of the park in order.
Ultimate put it in a whole another freaking dimension.
They were like, first people were like, oh, we can't bring characters back. Oh, boom, we brought them all back.
Everyone
Okay, well, they're not going to get these boom, we got these characters from the rights. They're not going to get Cloud back. We got Cloud back. Oh, well, they can't get Banjo. That's a different company. We got Banjo. They can't get like Sephiroth. Like Square Enix is super stingy. No, we're getting Sephiroth.
Hey,
Man,
you know
we
what'd be
can't.
funny?
We can't put Tekken in Smash in a way that makes sense. Boom, we got Kazuya, and he's so good.
And he has cool freaking combos.
And then the biggest one of all, there ain't no way Disney's gonna do something with us. Boom, Sora.
Nintendo
They
owns
freaking
everything.
conquered Disney.
Hey, I just want to say that I completely agree with what you're saying. You know, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I can definitely see why that really caused the Nintendo Switch sales to actually surpass the PlayStation 4. You know,
it's like-
before
yeah,
I looked at this. Yeah, before it was launched, PlayStation 4 was like by far the dominant sale in that generation. But when that game launched, so many people were getting Nintendo Switch just for that game, and I can definitely see why, because it is a really great game, brilliant game. Yeah.
Like, I legit, like, a handful of my friends were literally, I'm waiting for Smash to buy a Switch. And they all did. The second it happened, like, 3 of them bought the Smash Switch that has the art on it. They bought it specifically for it.
Good reasoning, honestly.
Yeah.
This game is what freaking dreams are made of. It is my second favorite game of all time, and I will forever ship it.
Still wish Isaac was a playable character.
Oh, hey, you know what you could have played for Isaac to be playable, but it ended up not happening?
Golden Sun? I did. I played all 3 of them.
You could have played PPM.
Let's say. That's a cop-out answer of, oh yeah, I could have played his game to play him. Well, yeah, that's how that works.
Well, no, because I don't know if P Plus is gonna still be worked on for whatever strange reasons, but Isaac was one of the characters they were working on for P Plus.
Well, the community does as it pleases. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, that's the community reason I'm saying.
Getting their inside suit out, good lord.
What official?
I was like, I guess the reason why is like a lot of people were getting Isaac so that way they can get a sequel to, you know, so we can get a Golden Sun game that get.
Didn't the last one end on a cliffhanger too?
Yeah. Well, see, that was just. See, the sequel was just that ending. That last part of the ending was supposed to be. Sorry if I'm going off a tangent, but it was supposed to originally just be there to give it more sequel bait. It was more there if they wanted to do another story. That's not going to happen. So if anything, they could have just ended right there, not talk about the Morning Moon or anything. But they did, and now you kind of have that. I really think Camelot should have that responsibility to just be like, you know what, screw it. We'll make a fourth Golden Sun game, but I think they don't have an idea how to make the story progress. I feel like they got writer's block up the wazoo. So.
Like, Smash is freaking amazing. Everything is in it. I love this game.
I genuinely think nothing is gonna top. Like, things will try to replicate. In fact, I mean, Multiverses is going in a good direction. But it's gonna do what it does really well. I feel like nothing is gonna replace Smash Ultimate. Like,
and even
I don't know how do you top this? Like,
I agree. It's going to be extremely difficult to do that. And
unless
here's
you
the
make
big
literal
question.
Yeah, literally.
Here's the big question I have though for the future of Smash Ultimate. Are they going to actually create a sequel, or are they just going to keep updating it with remasters and all that, with next gen versions?
To be real with you, I want Smash to be done, and I want Sakurai to have the best retirement of his whole life. Like, my man deserves the world and then some. My man needs a break. And literally every time,
break and posting his cat on Twitter.
Exactly. Like, every time they say, like, oh, there's gonna be another Smash. Like, oh, we don't know. I think we might be done. Another Smash freaking happens, and Sakurai must be going into a fountain of youth or something to keep working on these games, because my man works tirelessly and somehow looks younger and younger. But either way, like, yeah, he deserves a break.
I don't know what they'll do next for Smash. The dream would always be to go bigger and better, but of course I don't know how you can do that for this. So whether that means a couple years down the line Nintendo decides to do like a Smash Ultimate Deluxe that just starts from there and adds more, whether that means they do like a new Smash that has some roster cuts and some game design changes, I don't know. That's up for the future to decide and business to choose. Yeah, and knowing Nintendo, it'll probably be a pretty good game regardless.
Probably. If they don't do anything else, the only thing I should say should be next for Smash is doing like a championship edition for Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, because good old Nintendo price tag. Do you want to buy Ultimate right now with everything? Awesome. $105, please.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
like, I'd be fine with
a
them
Smash
not mentioning
Ultimate
another
Champion
game.
Edition would be very nice.
Yeah, just do a Championship Edition. Maybe like freaking a year or so from now, just
When they inevitably release the Switch 2, have a launch title of Smash Ultimate Deluxe, whatever you want to name it, edition. Throw in like a handful more Mii costumes or music too. And sell it for 60 as a launch title for the new Switch or whatever it is. Do that in between a year to 3 years from now, you're set.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I would want for the future of Smash. Don't even have to worry about making another game. Just focus on getting some kind of Smash Ultimate Deluxe out.
That's my list.
That's a great list.
Oh, thanks.
Really good list.
And now I really want to play this Poker Night the inventory game.
You know, something I noticed, we both picked our the games we play competitively. We both picked that's number one. I just noticed that.
There are games. The ones we spend all that time in, so of course we got appreciation for that.
Yeah, speaking of David's first pick, I wanted to do an honorable mention for Tekken 7, but as a whole, because I know there have been there's varying opinions on the DLC of Tekken, but as much as we gushed about Smash, I feel like Tekken 7 is up there now. Not on the same level, but it has slowly approached being in that upper tier of crossover games, because not only were a lot of the reveals either if they weren't hype, they grabbed your attention because either they were just so unexpected or they worked so surprisingly well. Like, I remember even hearing some people didn't like that Noctis was announced. But then when you see Noctis in gameplay in Grand Finals and he's swinging these swords and teleporting, it's actually freaking hype.
I will say that the crossovers in Tekken, at least in my experience, worked in that I didn't know about this game until this character. I had friends who didn't really know much about Tekken. They didn't have much experience with fighting games, let alone one like Tekken that's got a decent input barrier competitively, so people who want to play it competitive, they weren't as interested. And then casually, they didn't play fighting games casually. But then some of them were like, yo, I liked Final Fantasy, and this is a fighting game with friggin' Noctis in it? Yeah, I'll try it. One of them was like, yo, I want to try out Negan in a fighting game. That looks sick. I want to beat people in the head with a baseball bat. So I'll definitely give Hit's crossover characters that mention, of at least in my experience. They worked really well at bringing people into the game. And they're like, yo, Tekken's kind of sick.
Definitely. I will admit, I was one of those people that was like, yo, Sasuke's in this freaking game? And of course I had to be told that, yo, that's Noctis. He's Final Fantasy. Wait, what Final Fantasy? And then I find
he's
out
cooler
all the
than
new
Sasuke.
games.
He eats burgers and hangs out with his bros.
Yeah, like, it's going back to what we said about how sometimes you may not even know what character is until, you find out where they're from. And like I said, I mean, it might also be a little bit my bias because one of my NorCal homies, he's a Noctis player. Watching him in high-level Tekken is hype. Seeing the Geese reveal was freaking hype. Even seeing Negan revealed, it made people so confused, but then when you see the gameplay and you hear the voice lines, and then you see people, getting the references, it's still kind of cool that, no, who the frick expected Negan to be in this game?
And I just wanted to say that I actually do agree that, you know, in many ways Negan is a good not a good fit, but he is good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I can't even say necessarily he's a good fit, but I think you could say he can be considered a decent pick because again, even if it gets attention, it turned heads and it made people question, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And sorry, when you finished talking, the lag is confusing me.
Oh, sorry.
So I don't know.
No worries. All right, go ahead.
No, it was the lag. I'm sorry I interrupted because the lag, made me think you were done, and that's why I interrupt people sometimes by accident.
Go ahead and say what you were going to say.
So I just want to say, and I think Negan is good, especially for people who don't game at all. It could be a way to get them into Tekken 7. But as I said, he's not I'm not hating on him, but it's the fact he doesn't fit in there is just what made me eject him from the #1 spot in the Tekken 7 because I don't think that's worth the
Yeah,
number
no,
one spot.
you explained your reasoning,
Yeah.
and it made sense.
And again, like these are our lists. So
Yeah, like, and,
part of what puts his thing of having Negan there and his honorable mentions is different from your regards for why you specifically praised Season 1. Like, it's entirely valid.
yeah, and Digimon, like, I mean, it sounded like he was memeing, but it's actually facts. It's the kind of thing of where you can kind of tell that it may just be a back-end logistics, partnership, money grab sort of thing, but at the same time, it's normie appeal to where you get people that would never touch the fighting game in their lives. They might be Walking Dead fans, and they're like, "Oh wow, Negan's in this game. Who are all these characters? What is this? Let me try this game." Like things like that. Again,
That's what Saber did for me in Melty. I was like, sure, I'll give this a shot. And I was like, I don't even really care about Saber. I don't know much about Fate, but I know who she is. And I was like, ooh, let me try this redhead girl that punches lasers out. And she's now one of my absolute favorites.
Exactly, and for better for worse, that's what Eltonum did for freaking Uni. Because now the memes are flipped, and everyone calls Eltonum the freaking the girl from Under Night, because Eltonum's not in freaking Lumina yet.
It's just not in the new Melty.
Yeah, and that's for lore reasons. But again, it's things like this where characters can get people to try your games. And again, like you guys should know by now, I think of these things not only from a player perspective, but a dev perspective also. At the end of the day, if all else doesn't make sense, you can assume that on the back end, some partnership or deal was made, either for money reasons or pure interest. One prime I guess without rambling too much, because this does kind of tie into one of my other picks. Another example is Sam Show.
Boo, the game sucks.
Shut
Dog
up.
water.
You're wrong. But oh wait, is this the right order? Actually, yeah. No, this is the right order. So good. This is a perfect segue. My number 3 pick was Biken. Because
in Sam Show, yeah.
Biken was a prime example of money and interest reasons potentially, but also just fitting so freaking perfectly into Sam Show. Biken, like the moment they revealed that Sam Show would be getting a Guilty Gear character, everyone immediately said Biken or Nagoriyuki. Like
Should be Nago.
Two more. I mean, well, I'd say yes, but if they didn't tone down his movement,
Do you want to be real busted?
He'd be really freaking busted, bro.
You want to put a dude with cancelable teleports in a game that has like really slow movement?
Like, no, don't do that.
Let's break the game wide open real quick.
And with a guard crush as Nago, that'd be dumb.
He would definitely be up there with
Mm.
Earthquake as a very good Zona.
And despite me saying how busted Nago would be, the funny thing is Biken is top 2 in the game because they really borderline copy-pasted her from Rev. But it's the kind of thing where everyone loves Biken. It was perfect timing because it was at the same time as Strive, and people were like discussing, yo, where's Biken in Strive? And then they're like, oh, hey, you know where you can play Biken? Play her in Session. It's such a great addition. And, like, again, I think it might just be some personal bias for me, but Biken's a much more likable character for me now than before. But a slight tangent, the reason I brought up Sam Show also was because when it comes to developer interest and partnerships, one guest character that some people weren't really happy about or people were confused about was Warden in Sam Show, which
That was an interesting choice.
yeah, some people, I mean, it probably appealed to some of the For Honor fans, but when they did that first interview, first showcasing that was going to be a collaboration, you can tell the devs were actually, this is something that the devs themselves were genuinely wanting to do, because they even said they had planned for Warden to be in it from the beginning of the game. but things got like pushed back because of COVID and stuff. And like that's just a funny example of where sometimes things can seem like a money grab, sometimes things can seem out of place, but other times, sometimes the devs just really want a freaking crossover. So for all, I mean, I don't know, like, did Harada and them really want Negan in there? Like, are they Walking Dead fans? I don't know.
Harada just really liked Walking Dead, I guess.
Yeah, like, so sometimes you have to consider that with crossovers too.
I mean, that's part of what, like, Sakurai said, of like, oh, we planned an ARMS character and we planned, like, a Xenoblade character from the beginning. And then it's very clear both in what he said and in the presentation, he personally is a huge SNK fan, so Terry was an absolute blast for him.
Yeah, he was very upfront about his KOF inspiration too. So I like looking at it from the developer's point of view too.
And I would just like to add that, you know, I always respect everybody's opinions, you know, as I've said in previous streams, and I always respect other people's lists. What I like to do, though, is I like to explain my perspective to, you know, to give other people, and especially the audience, you know, a clearer picture of how our perspectives are different. You understand what I'm saying?
No, yeah, well, that's why I'm glad you were thorough with your explanation, as we, hopefully we all try to be thorough. Y'all know I talk a lot and try to explain things. So hopefully it all makes sense, right?
That makes sense.
Cool.
All right. You have anything else?
Huh?
No, I was just saying, was there anything else you wanted to say about your pick, or you?
Now, hopefully, all that rambling ended up being a decent segue, kind of. But now the topic will kind of shift a bit. Sort of, because we did bring him up earlier. My number 3 pick is just a character as a whole.
Yeah?
Because
he fits very thematically in most of his crossovers.
Yeah.
Dude is here to fight strong people.
This is the thing, Akuma, for something about him, he just has this presence that works so well with collabs, and no matter what game he's in, he's just dummy good. Like,
I will forever be so salty that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite didn't succeed well enough to get more season passes, because they ended the story on a note of Thanos having the Satsui no Hado, and I know they could have done cool stuff with that in Akuma.
that would have been the perfect, oh my god.
It would have been super good, but they never got to do it.
So you gain this power.
That's a shame. Oh, you know,
Akuma
you want
versus Thanos? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
It would
That would have been great, but you want to hear an interesting thing, though? I don't know if you're aware of this, Ronald, but, you know, I'm not sure which Marvel game it is. I think it's an X-Men fighting game. There's an X-Men fighting game where you could actually, even though it's completely focused on X-Men, Akuma can actually be a secret boss battle.
I forget all the games where he can, because there's multiple games where he can.
He's in a ton of things.
Yeah.
There's a list, there's probably some freaking YouTube compilation of top 10 Akuma boss battles. Because
You know, I actually created a list.
Guy.
Oh.
Sorry,
Okay. No, I was just saying, I actually created, in, you know, the Mortal Kombat Armageddon where you can create your own characters and all that? I actually created, one of the characters I created, besides Kazuya, I also created Akuma, and I actually created the story, the ending, where he was actually created by Shinnok to help him, you know, to help him conquer all the realms. And what I actually do with Akuma in my own version of Akuma in that game is that I actually, as soon as Raiden changes the timeline, he suddenly disappears, because it's a new timeline that's never created. But a brief vision of his conscious flashes in Shinnok's, in Shinnok after he gets defeated in Ultimate X. I won't say it in detail. I know it's a little bit gruesome on stream, but I'll just say that that's the thing I added in. It's one of those things you either find very funny or you find very epic. So I even like to create my own crossovers with Akuma.
Right.
You're right. I agree. He's such a great character.
like you can.
He should be in a Tony Hawk game.
He just represents that, like, search for power and the antagonist of, like, just pure selfish desire for power. It's
Yeah.
like the perfect representation of that character and that archetype.
This angry dude can go to any dimension and fight anybody, and it will
Yeah.
Because he
probably work.
needs it.
It Akuma's just that dude. Like that's why I have him in my
He
top 3
needs to
because
fight the strongest. That
every-
is his entire existence.
it is his existence.
Yeah.
That's why every time I think of Akuma, I just think of how you can just pick whatever appearance he's had out of a hat, and people will like remember it. Freaking Akuma, dude. It's freaking wild what he's been in and just his design as a character.
Yeah. Imagine it. Oh,
Go ahead.
I'll just think. Imagine in Star Wars though, where he ends up in the Star Wars universe and he tries to use the Raging Demon on Jar Jar Binks. You just see him run away while Akuma's chasing him, trying to use the Raging Demon on him.
See, it sounds like memes, but this is something that people would pay money for.
Geico 15 minutes could save you 50% or more on car insurance.
But I wonder if y'all would expect my number 2, because it actually took me a while to remember that could possibly be a tie for number 1. But Sakurai is too much of a god to not have Smash Bros. My number 1. But my number 2.
Blue Cross-Talk Battle, woo!
Yeah.
Yep.
If we're talking about games that are borderline Mugen, good
This
lord.
one is Mugen.
Like, okay, it was already fan service enough as it is. Like this game's initial premise of, hey, here's Blaze Blue, here's Persona, here's Under Night, here's Ruby, of all things. Like, that was wild as it was, and I didn't even play the freaking story mode yet, so I didn't get to see all the like niche interactions that they integrated. But then they start bringing in Senran Kagura, Akatsuki Blitzcomp. They bring in freaking Heart. The roster is insane.
It's another game I'm sad that eventually stopped getting support, because the director straight up said, like, I will cross over with literally everything, and he, like, made a list of games he wanted, and that included Street Fighter and Skullgirls.
Oh my god.
I was like, yo, if I can play a game where I can have Kanji and Peacock team up to beat people up, this is the best game ever. I can play a game where Kanji and Beowulf can team up. This is the greatest game ever made.
Best Valentine Yumi play you've ever seen. Good.
Like, I'm tragically sad that I've kind of aged and grown more fond of cross tag as time has gone on. I wasn't huge on it at the start because I was disappointed that, sure, it had all these characters, but it didn't really go in depth with a lot of them. Because it had more depth than the team play. The individual movesets were really, like, kind of meh.
Yeah, and that was
So,
pretty much
like,
by
that
design.
disappointed me at first, but as time went on and they added more DLC, and as they kind of expanded the game's mechanics a bit after a couple balance patches, I was like, no, it's okay that the characters don't have a ton of stuff, because battles end in 3 to 4 interactions anyway, so you don't need to do a ton of stuff.
Like, this game's surrounded by various unfortunate factors. People ragged on the game's execution for no freaking reason. Like, the support for the game was very up and down. Like, for some reason, this game has way less Ruby characters than it should. Even though there were announcer voices for a bunch of different Ruby characters. It's just tragic.
I wanted Pura.
Dude,
Sadness.
Okay, I would want to be a Valentine Yumi player, but if Pure was in this game, I'd lose my freaking mind.
Pure shouldn't have died. But oh well.
It's okay, she doesn't in Chibi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ruby
yeah.
Chibi is the canon as far as we're concerned. Nothing else
Right.
matters.
They even
But-
say that in
I'm gonna head
Chibi.
out. I'm gonna head out for tonight because everybody's going to sleep in the house. So
Oh,
you
alrighty.
guys have a good night.
You
Thanks.
too.
I'll see you guys tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah.
Have a
I
good
think
night.
we'll do
Bye.
the Sonic one around the same time.
Yeah.
Like this. See, now I'm thinking about it. It's freaking tragic. BB Tag has never been my kind of game at all. You guys know my taste. But I like this game purely from a fan service perspective. And, well, actually, no, fan service and developer perspective. Because as much as people ragged on the design, like, it's objectively a good thing to make your games accessible, have a lower floor of entry, but still maintain adequate depth for people to like explore like higher level play, which BB Tag has adequate depth. This game is cracked out, and like Tim said, you die in freaking 3 interactions. It's good lord. BB Tag is freaking silly, but
It's more like 5.
Hmm?
It's more like 5 interactions.
I mean, if you get to
If you're
burst,
bad.
if you burst successfully, yeah, which like it's not that hard to bait burst in freaking. Even I can bait burst in freaking BB Tag,
Or if you're not playing good characters,
which
like me if
is
you're playing kanji.
which is wild to think about that a character can be bad in BB Tag, but it.
Yukiko bottom 1. Woo, you love to see it.
No, you don't let to see it. But then again,
No.
I was the person that didn't really care about playing my mains from other games because I didn't want to like mix and match them anyway. It's the opposite of what melee players complained about going to PM. Like, no, playing Fox in both is not that hard, but
Yes, it is, bro. Shut
bro,
up.
playing Fox, switching between Fox and P plus and melee, you cannot tell me it's the same level as switching between Ness in Ultimate and P plus. They are nowhere
Yes.
near the same level.
Yes, they are.
No, stop.
Yes. No.
How
you're
much can you mash
crap.
in P plus? Because man can Ness mash in Ultimate.
Ness is way
A lot.
extremely more technical in P plus. If I can play
Down
Fox
tilt
and
pops up
freaking
for some reason.
well,
It's so annoying.
Falco is different because Falco actually has important brawl differences. Fox is the same. Falco is different.
No. His jump squat has an extra 2 frames, so everything is a lot easier.
Oh my god. I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Just play
Anyways,
Ultimate, where everyone who's not Kazuya has a 3-frame jump squat.
well, there you go. And also for me, I just didn't really feel like playing Yuzu because there were other characters that were made easier that were just
Like
cool to
Yuzu.
play, like Seth. Seth is so freaking easy in BB Tech. So playing Seth Yubi was actually
The characters I like, one of them sucks and the other one is good. Because I would play Kanji and Yang because it's Yang before they ruin her. So I was like, perfect, I'll do this team. And Yang is good, Kanji sucks. But auto combos are strong, and I know when to call in the assist, so I make it work.
Imagine BB Tag being the second best Ruby content more than the actual show.
That was the thing about BB Tag at launch that like was the biggest thing that like made me think about it. Was someone brought up like, who's this game for? And for the longest time, I didn't have an answer because like it's not for Persona 4 players because they'd rather play Persona 4. It's not for Uni players, they'd rather play Uni. It's not for BlazBlue players, they'd rather play BlazBlue. Is it for Ruby fans? Maybe. But they almost didn't put half the team in the game at launch.
The game.
So I was like, oh, it's for people who like a lot of these series and also aren't super dedicated fighting game players. That's who it's for.
Yeah. In fact, hold on, I'm gonna.
If it didn't have Ruby, I probably wouldn't play it. Not gonna lie.
That's understandable, to be honest. Although, then again, you're a Persona and a BlazBlue fan, so.
Exactly. You'd rather just play Persona and BlazBlue, I bet.
Yeah.
No,
well,
it's still my favorite team game.
Also
It's still my favorite team game, but like
BB Tag does
Ruby was
things
a big
right that
factor of
people
it.
don't appreciate.
Also, it has a tank in it, so it's good.
Again, this roster is freaking Mugen, bro. Why can't you play as
Man,
Blitz
imagine if I could have Blitz tank and Big Band. Man, imagine. I can kind of do that with Tager, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. Also, the one thing that I will always appreciate about BB Tag, and I don't care how much people complain,
Yep.
this game gives the uni characters a bangin' dub cast.
A very good dub cast with a lot of dub content.
I have
So much fan service content. It's amazing.
Yes, I very much love the dub of this game as a whole, and I would pay a whole lot of money. In fact, quick tangent because I got hyped and I haven't seen anything since this like leak or weird happenstance. I don't know if you guys ever saw the tweet of a video from some people playing BBCF, and something
Or it has
happened.
Celica in English.
Or it was Celica and was it Ragna in
Oh, Ragnar
English?
too? I didn't know that.
And you were like, yo.
It's like I don't know what they did. I don't know what happened, but they did something, and like Celica and I thought Ragna too ended up somehow in English, and they didn't understand what happened. But I was really hoping, is there gonna be a freaking dub patch for BBCF, because I would actually play more BBCF.
Man, that's crazy.
That'd be freaking sick. Also, howdy. But
That shit's insane! Like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but please, go on.
oh my god.
What the fuck?
Like, everyone should know too. There are various the dub VAs that I sim for.
Oh wait, game character crossovers? Hold
yeah,
up.
like you see my screen, right?
Yeah.
I absolutely love the Uni dub cast, and I would pay so much money. I don't even care, like, if it was to be officially done. Like, just copy paste the BB tag voice lines into Uni. Like, I don't care. I would pay for that. Just throw them in there as like DLC.
Let me see.
I would pay for that. The dub cast for this game is sick, and I was pleasantly surprised with them getting Erica Lindbeck for using.
All I'm gonna say is very frequently the fighting game quotes Twitter posts things from BB Tag story mode or Blaze Blue story mode stuff, and it's funny moments, and it's like,
If we're talking,
great that these are dubbed now.
wait, if we're talking about crossovers here, like, is there any limit, or what is this limited to?
Well, it was games.
Some people broke the limit and just straight up put anime on here.
Very much so. But it was games in general. Games, either specific character crossovers, or just games as a whole. Like, as you can see, we mentioned certain games, we mentioned certain characters, gave a reasons why. I don't think I'm gonna mulligan my order after all. Maybe. I don't know.
I might mulligan my order and put Dengeki beneath the Sonic All-Stars.
Wait, hold up. Wait a second.
What?
There's something missing here, and I'm heavily disappointed in you.
In me? What?
Yes. Where the fuck is Dead or Alive?
That's
it has
what
a-
I'm
it has a-
saying,
it has a
dog.
Spartan in it.
Oh
Kind of surprised
Hello?
Dead or Alive isn't here. But then again, the Dead or Alive players aren't in this stream.
Yeah,
I don't
that's the
know.
real
Well,
answer.
I mean,
is the
either-
people
like,
in the
I played
Dead or
specific
Alive.
group
Like that-
aren't a
like
lot
that-
of Dead or Alive
Like,
people.
that doesn't matter. Like, it's still a part of history. Like, DOA's, like, even though I know nobody around here locally plays it, I have played
I
it
play
since...
it.
I've played it since...
Ricardo,
God
you play
knows.
everything.
But so let's talk about... So, Ryu Hayabusa, Momiji, Rachel from the Ninja Gaiden series, Naotora from Samurai Warriors, and freaking... Because she
Akira
was
from
at...
Virtual Fighter?
Yeah! And fucking Pi! Yeah, like...
And,
Oh my lord.
the old man guy, I forgot his name.
Yeah, but exactly. Like...
And the OC Spartan, because they couldn't get Master Chief, because he was finishing the fight.
There was that. Oh yeah, Chiefy. Yeah, Chiefy was in DOA 4. Yeah, even though it was Cortana voicing it, that didn't matter. It was still
We
Chief.
had Kula and Mai from
Yeah.
from King of Fighters.
They are indeed in there now.
Oh my lord, I can't believe you forgot DOA. I'm ashamed
Also,
of you.
why the frick weren't you here to make a list?
Hey,
Because he didn't write them, obviously.
that's what I'm saying. Hello.
Bro, I
You
have
were
I
invited.
have a literal Shenanigans roll. I pinged the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Wait, hold up. There's one more I think you're missing here. Hold on.
No.
I'm double checking. Hold on. How the fuck is Killer Instinct not on here?
Well, we mentioned it.
It is on here.
Who did mention
Where?
it?
In my life.
Digimon reference General Ram.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier.
No, there's
Actually,
there's
I might
one
as
more.
well put it in my honorable mentions because this is
No,
the reason.
there's two more. The Arbiter.
This
Yeah,
is
because there's
I'm
Arbiter and
typing
there's
it.
Battletoads.
This is
Battletoads.
the
Battletoads.
We've talked about it.
this is
Okay.
the reason that I gave Ki the light of day. Not gonna lie.
Well, I was like, but
Oh
I was
my
like, why is it so
God,
scary? Well, what about Rash?
You have shitty Samsho in your top 3, but you can't even respect KI. Oh my.
Well, because I respect Ki more from a developer
Hey,
perspective than a player
where's Rash?
Where is Rash?
Rash,
Hello? Where's
what's
it?
up?
He's sitting there hiding in a barrel
That
somewhere.
doesn't matter. Oh my lord,
He's cleaning his
this list is
sunglasses.
fraud. This list is shit.
Bro, he even says it himself. The cameos are killing him. Give him a rest.
It happened. That's all that matters. Oh yeah, Lost Planet 2, Frank West
Oh my lord.
and Albert Wesker. And they
That's
even
the
had.
best appearance is MVCI because Iron Man tells him to fight Thanos.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about Lost Planet 2. Lost Planet was it was so good back then. So yeah, it's him, Wesker,
So it
and
doesn't matter whatever
and they
reference
also-
he's in. That's the
no,
only
so
one
it's
that
those
matters.
two, and then they actually had the Rathalos armor from Monster Hunter in there too.
Ooh, yeah. You know what? No, Tim reminded me. That is the best thing from MVCI. That one scene.
Right, go get him.
He's gonna kill me.
Well, they say journalism's a dying profession.
Oh my god.
And then when you win, Iron Man's like, holy crap, he did it.
All right, cool. I'm
Good
gonna
job,
go.
buddy. I always believed in you.
Make a list, Brandon, please. I'll add it.
If you don't mind me asking, who was that?
Brandon, Raptor, gotcha enthusiast.
Oh my, I like how I've only been playing this game for 2 hours and they're already putting me up against Master Rank, so what the fuck?
What are you doing?
All my life. I'm playing Grand Blue.
Oh, cool. See, Ricardo, your tastes are so up and down. Drive me nuts. Anywho, good lists.
Yeah, Ron. I just want to say before we had this person join, I just wanted to say that you have a really good list. So y'all all of you have good lists. So
Thank you. This is all I could think of, honestly.
I'm glad that we have a good variety of individual specific choices, and then a fairly good handful of unified similar choices.
And then there's one bad choice in Ronald's column.
I mean, you're just wrong because
Yeah, Nitro Plus should be replaced with Blade Strangers.
Exactly, that's why I'm saying.
You know what?
Because
I thought
that
about
one has
it.
Cave Story characters and Shovel Knight in it.
I did think about it.
I thought about
you
it,
know
but I
what?
realized it was too similar to one of the parts of why I like Slap City. It's because it has all the indie games I like. But then I was like, well, Slap City does, and I have more attachment to those.
I'll mulligan this because I was trying to keep Blade Strangers out solely from gameplay bias. But it is interesting because it's another game where I don't even know where most of the characters are freaking from. And then you find out, but then you see it, you at least, everyone that tries Blade Strangers, they're like, hey, Shovel Knight, hey, Isaac, or hey,
Golden Curly Brace, baby!
yeah, that's the main thing I usually have heard. They're the one-off people that know who freaking, who's the busted top tier? Gunvolt, they're people.
Oh yeah, Striker Gunvolt.
Yeah, there's some people that know Gunvolt. Some people know Indiana Jones, dude that got added.
The dude from 1001 Spikes.
Yeah, bro, there's so many characters there I don't know, but I have come across the people that do know those characters. But you know what? Yeah, I'll have it there. But I do think Marvel 3 stands out a bit more as a crossover.
I thought about putting Marvel 3 on my list, but I realized, as a crossover fighter, it doesn't do, in terms of just, the amount of crossovers it does, everything I'd want to give it props for, other games do better. Things like Tatsunoko or Blaze Blue do. The one thing I'd give it credit for is that it made Phoenix Wright a very interesting fighting game character. So I was thinking of doing that as an honorable mention for
Phoenix
a bit.
Wright's
Just
existence
specifically
alone
Phoenix Wright.
Puts it so up there for me. It's
a really creative and a really well executed choice of a fighter.
It's so wild. But yeah, I think I'll leave this and I'll export and timestamp this at some point. But
Good stuff.
yeah, that'll be it from us, I think.
Arnold, thank you for hosting this. Again, thank you for hosting another Shenanigans. Really appreciate it.
No worries. I know you guys have had some ideas and wanted more. I've been very inconsistent with these, but glad we did this one at least.
Always fun talking about favorite stuff with y'all.
Yeah, glad you all
Hey,
enjoyed it.
same.
Get to
Same
hear
shit.
about cool things you don't know about, and hear about things that you have in common that you like with other people. It's
Yeah.
always fun.
These are always
Exactly.
really informative, especially. I have games that
Now I'm gonna go cry that people can't buy Poker Night.
I'm fine with that.
this just chatting category is wildin'.
Oh.
I was trying to find someone to raid. I
And
don't
it's going crazy on a Thursday night.
I don't even know who to raid. I'm gonna send y'all to Chokinator. Webtoon contest, cool. I haven't caught one of his streams in a bit.
I'm
Would you
gonna go
just close
pass
the
out.
stream? You just close it?
Oh no, I'm doing the raid right now. All right, thanks Tim.
Good night, everybody.
Laters. Whoever's
Good night.
watching, go ahead and stick around. Let's tell Chokinator howdy. And I'll catch y'all later. Oh gosh dang it, I hit refresh. Hold on. This raid will happen eventually. But tomorrow we're gonna be doing the Sonic. Oh wait, I am? What the frick? Oh, never mind, there we go. Tomorrow we're gonna be doing the Sonic stream. It's around the same time. We're gonna be talking about the Sonic Frontiers gameplay and stuff. Everyone's polarizing opinions on that. Gonna be fun. But hope y'all come check it out. Laters.